Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Premodern Showdown Series 3. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined this evening by Flint Espel. Say hi, Flint.
Hi, everybody.
So we have a special night. We have three matches of Magic tonight, and that is because we had to move some things around the prior week. But we have Ben and Tom up first, and then we'll have John against James, and then again we're gonna have Ben, but he'll be playing Ron tonight. So lots of Magic for everyone to enjoy, and we get to enjoy this. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by some technical things on the in the behind the scenes. So I'm going to pull up the standings to see where we are at currently. So this was not including what had happened on earlier this week on Tuesday. We have John and James tied in first, so they'll be playing today. So one of them will be in first, and one of them will drop down to second. Oh yeah, I did have my date wrong. And So Jared was at third place at 3-2. Aaron 2-3, tied with Brian and Ron. And then at the bottom is Tom and Ben, but that's because they're the ones who missed their match earlier, so they're gonna make it up. So they will be have the same number of games played as everybody else. All right, so I am going to jump over to the ban screen for our first match. So we have Ben against Tom. Ben has brought the Survival Elves deck, the Death and Taxes deck, and Zombies. Tom has elected to ban the Zombies deck from Ben. And then Tom has brought Goblins, along with Psychotog,
Hey.
along with Devourer Combo. And so his Goblins deck has been banned, and looked like Flint had to step away, so I guess I'll just jump right over to the decks right now so we can figure out what the players are playing. Ben is playing his Death and Taxes list. So this Death and Taxes Rebel stacks is a prison mid-rangey control soft lock kind of deck. So what it looks to do is kind of put the opponent in a bind for a bit of time and then eke out card advantage with the rebel mechanic, or just having the enlightened tutor package find the right card. So cards like Sphere Resistance can come out as early as turn 1 with Ancient Tomb and really slow down the opponent. And Sphere Resistance doesn't affect the ability for rebels. So that is one way that Ben can break the symmetry of Sphere Resistance. And yeah, so it kind of struggles a little bit if the decks are able to get a big board presence early, because the creatures in the Death and Taxes list aren't as impressive. But if you're slowing down your opponent, you can get a good amount of card advantage. So one thing to look out for the Death and Taxes. And then the deck that Tom is playing is the Devourer Combo deck. So what this deck is trying to assemble is an A plus B combo, and the A part will always be Phyrexian Devourer. So that is a 6-mana creature that has an ability to exile cards from the top of your library to have it gain power. And then the B part of the combo is either Altar of Dementia, which you sacrifice a creature to mill that many cards equal to the power of the creature, or Fling is the other card, and that will just deal damage directly to a creature or player. So if you're able to get that Devourer out quick, you can either mill out your opponent or deal them a bunch of damage. And Tinker is a card that kind of combines it all together. Tinker can find either the Devourer or the Altar of Dementia. And then the rest of the deck is mana and smoothing elements with like Factor Fiction or Impulse, and then Tanglewire is a way to disrupt your opponent, where you can try and sneak in your combo if they are tapped down their permanents. So I will bring up the key cards for this match. We have Lin Civi, and not only does this serve as a good engine for finding the rebels and a source of card advantage under the cards that Ben wants to put in play. But the second ability on Linsivy could be really interesting in this matchup. If Tom goes for the kill with Altar of Dementia and Ben has a Linsivy in play with 3 mana, during his upkeep before he draws a card, he can put a rebel on the bottom of his library, so then he won't die from drawing cards. So for drawing from an empty library. So it's a way for Ben to kind of negate the combo in some sense. And then Enlightened Tutor is a good card in this matchup because there are a number of silver bullets in Ben's list, and Enlightened Tutor can find a lot of those. And so I expect him to use the Enlightened Tutor just to kind of smooth out his draw or find the right card at the particular time. And then from Tom's perspective, City of Traders or Ancient Tomb I think are really important cards, just because if he's looking for a fast combo, those cards are really powerful. And then Tinker is kind of in the same sense. It allows him to turbo out the Devourer, but then also can help him find either half of the combo for what he needs. So that's what we're looking at. So Flint has just stepped back in. How are you doing, Flint?
Hey, sorry, the dog got into the trash.
Yes, all right. So quick update.
Wait,
we have...
I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess what decks they're playing.
Yes.
Is it too late?
You can take a stab at it, yeah. I will bring up a couple of slides so that we can get to know the players a little bit, and then we will jump down to the match. But we have getting to know Ben Pelcyger. So his favorite Magic archetype is Prison, and so I don't know if that was an influence on what he's playing tonight, but the Death and Taxes is a good I don't know if imitation, but it's a good build on a Prison archetype for the pre-modern era. So he says his favorite card art, it's just the one in that upper right hand corner. So it's maybe a little bit small, but there is an altered Tarmogoyf, and then I don't know if that, I'm assuming the model picture was on the right and then the altar came, but maybe he requested an altar and then tried to reenact it. I'm not exactly sure the story behind this, but a good piece of artwork there.
The creature in the card looks like the Rancor from Star Wars, kind of, right?
Well, the one that he's riding in the model photo looks more like
BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. So, Ben's favorite card that he wishes was good enough for pre-modern is Stronghold Gambit, which I know has been played in some sideboards of Reanimator decks against typically decks with few or no creatures, a way to just sneak it into play.
Yep.
Ben's take on the best candy bar, he said, that Babe Ruth from Caddyshack. It was hilarious. And so I will agree that of candy bars, that is a very good candy bar, that particular Baby Ruth. So, would he rather fight 1 Draco-sized Hunted Wumpus or 10 Hunted Wumpus-sized Dracos? And he wants to fight 1 big Hunted Wumpus. All right, and then on to Tom. His favorite Magic archetype is Control. And we've seen him pilot Psychotog a number of times. So his favorite Magic card art is Grim Lavamancer. Do you know what card? There's a Magic card featured in that art. And the I guess it's not the original one. It's or is it? No, it is on the original art. Do you know what card is featured in the Grim Lavamancer art?
Is it Obstinate Familiar?
Yes, it is. So on the Grim Lavamancer shoulder, is that the original? Maybe it's just the Judge Promo one or one that's been reprinted. But Obstinate Familiar is on the shoulder of the Grim Lavamancer. Tom says the best candy bar is Snickers. So good. I will tell my story about Snickers. So I worked at a golf course, and I was on like the maintenance crew, and obviously one of the candy bars we sold in the shop was Snickers, but like if there was ever a wrapper on the ground, it was almost always a Snickers. So I don't know if that means that just a high number of the thing that we sold was Snickers, and so it was just representative of how much candy was sold, or someone who buys Snickers is much more likely to litter than any other candy bar. Never did figure that out, but I kind of like to think that the people that buy Snickers are more likely to litter because that's a better story. But and he'd rather fight 10 still pretty big Dracos. So okay, I'm ready to start the match. Are you, Flint?
Let's do it. I'll
All right.
message the players.
All right, you got the dog under control.
He's standing next to me, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay, so Ben is on the play. I will try and find where I can do a poll if I have the right stuff. Okay, I do here. All right, we'll start this prediction. And who will win match one? Okay, so Premodern fans, you have a couple of minutes to wager your points on who you think is going to win. And Ben has started things off for his deck with the Ancient Tomb and Sphere Resistance, so definitely looking to slow Tom out at the start of the game. But Tom also has his own Ancient Tomb. So both players with their soul lands. Unfortunately for Tom, he's got to pay 1 mana for the Jeweled Amulet, but then he will put a colorless mana on it right away.
Value.
Yeah, probably not the way he thought that turn was going to go, but I guess it's nice that he's able to do something, at least something.
So Ben, following up with a port here. He's going to take 2 more from his tomb, and he's going to drop yet another sphere.
So he said, "Well, how many spells are you going to be able to cast this game, Tom?" um, so we don't see a lot of decks play Jeweled Amulet other than this one. Do you think other decks could like play this card? I mean, I feel like it's a little bit underplayed because I don't think I've ever seen it in any other list.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little narrow. I mean, a lot of the times the second card you just played, Mindstone, is a little better, but I do like it in this list, and I like it in the Cheerios list as well.
Okay, that is one deck that we have seen it in, but I don't think I've seen the Cheerios deck for at least a year, so
I don't know if it's ever really picked up any steam.
I don't think so. Looks
Mike
like
Arnold's on it.
looks like most of the votes went to Tom, but there was someone who has wagered some points on Ben, so they're trying to hit it big. All right. So Tom is at 14. He's used that Ancient Tomb 3 times. Is that right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, how difficult is it for Tom to do stuff when there's one sphere of resistance in play, and how hard is it to do it when there's 2 in play?
And it's tricky with 1, but it really starts to matter at 2. I mean, the Devourer deck runs a lot of soul lands, so you can often find yourself with a lot of mana on the table. I think it'll really just depend on what his opening hand looks like. We do see a City of Traders here, which is great to kind of push him ahead a little bit, but still, I mean, to cast a Tinker, it's going to cost him 5 mana, which is no small amount. It's doable with the lands that he has, but it's just going to slow him down. Now, again, I think we may run into a similar situation with poor Ben, where he gets these prison elements on the board, but then he doesn't quite have enough pressure to close out the game. I mean, we'll see how it goes. There's no colored mana. Tom is at 14, but I really do think that Ben needs to start to apply some amount of pressure here sooner rather than later.
All right, so Tom's casting a 4 mana impulse.
It's almost a prophetic bolt without the damage.
I'm trying to think like what is the closest pre-modern legal card to all the things that Tom is doing when they cost 2 extra mana every time.
I don't know what it would be. A 4 mana draw 1 or search and draw 1. Gosh.
All right, so Tom has a City of Traders. He's able to cast a Factor Fiction. So, one, two, three, four, five, six. Yep. All right. So the cards we're seeing are Tinker, City of Brass, Fling, Chromatic Sphere, and Chromatic Sphere.
I wonder what he's got in his hand. Oof.
Well, I feel like I don't think you're worried about a card like Fling, in particular, because it's hard to like if you can't cast the Devourer like for 8 mana very easily, and if you have Tinker, I guess that you could leave it in play. It's possible that Ben doesn't have removal, but okay. So what did he take? Tinker and City of Brass. Okay.
Yeah. Setting himself up for a 12-turn clock here with that City of Brass.
Yep. So the City Traders does go away, so that's no longer available. So Tom will only have, I guess. Well, we're currently he has one with the Jewel Dammit to 6 mana. I think Ben might be adjusting some things on his end. All right, so one of the criticisms I guess I've had out of this Death and Taxes deck is it does seem to do a pretty good job of getting the early disruption down, but then it has difficulty closing out the game. And here we see like Ben hasn't applied any pressure. It's going to be, even if like the first threat he's going to probably play is going to be like a 1/1 creature, and it doesn't really clock Tom at all. So Tom has time to draw out of the bind that Ben has put him in.
Not to be confused with Word of Binding.
I don't even remember.
It's not a Magic card you see very often, and has a pretty crazy art.
Is that an Ice Age card?
Yeah.
A blue one with a man's head. Oh, that's not the one I was thinking.
Or black. It's black, not blue. Yeah.
Right, so Ben has used 5 mana so that he can play a Tango Wire. So both players at 12. But Tom has a number of permanents. So I mean it's really easy for Ben to choose because Tango Wire takes down and then he's able to just tap the 3 spheres, which are still in effect even when they're tapped. Both players are actually playing Tangle Wire, so I think Ben has 2 copies while Tom has the full 4.
Yeah, that sounds right. So Ben has the colored mana now. He's got a turn where he could potentially add pressure, but it doesn't look like he's able to. Looks like he's just going to go for the tap down.
So this Comical Flop was talking about how he almost won a game by porting his opponent's City of Brass, but then his opponent Burning Wished, fetched and cast Recoup, and then cast Pillage to blow up his own City of Brass. That is a lot of hoops to go through to blow up your own land.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Recoup. I wish it were like
a little cheaper.
Yeah, or maybe I think if like the flashback were a little cheaper, then I'd still like I don't know. It's probably only played in like unfair decks. But we do have a Prime subscription from Michael Papa Bush, so thank you for the support. It is appreciated. All right, we have Impulse being cast, another 4 mana Impulse. Tom is down to 9. Well, I guess if Ben is able to like sneak in a turn of a threat, it's got a lot less work that it needs to do than normal, given how much damage Tom has taken from his lands. and that City Brass is still in play. So even if Tom is not choosing to tap it to the Tanglewire or using it for mana, the Rishid imports and get some pings in.
Oh, we got a subscription.
Yeah, I already noted that.
Did you name that one?
Yes.
I've been looking at Rusty over here. Just keeping my eye on him. A little distracted. Um, Big question for Ben is why go to all this trouble for Rebel Engine and not just play Mud? Because it'd be a different deck, obviously.
I guess you would have to talk to Ben of what points he thinks that his deck would have over the Mud deck. I imagine that he does feel like there are some strengths that Mud doesn't have, but I think in general this is kind of a deck that he's brewed up and really enjoys like tweaking and tuning, and is just really enjoying playing with it. So Cave says, "Which Rusty?
I know.
Rusty Shackleford."
Not Rusty Shackleford.
Well, Mishra's Factory is actually probably the most effective way of attacking Tom's life total, right? I guess it uses up some of his mana, but
Yeah.
it's probably like close to the quickest clock that he can present, at least at this point in the game.
Yeah, he doesn't have to pay mana to cast a creature to take potentially a turn off of tapping Tom down a little bit more.
It sounds like people have more recoup experiences than I thought. I would
Yeah,
say
right?
there's been a couple of times where I've like thought about like trying to put it in a deck, and I just have never found the right shell for it. So
Interesting that Tom taps his Mind Stone and his Amulet. Is he really hoping to take advantage of colored mana this turn?
well, I don't know if part of it is, does it reduce the impact of like Rishidan port? Not really. I don't know. I guess if he doesn't think he's going to sacrifice the Mind Stone, that he just wants to keep more options open. But it's hard to cast like multiple colored spells in one turn when there's two sphere resistances. So Crystal Vein is in play. So now Tom has really built up a good amount of mana. So eventually, when the Tanglewire is down less and there's more mana, well, I guess he can do something right now. So we've got,
Alter?
looks like it.
Uh-huh. All right, Rusty Shackleford, aka Ben.
Chad is happy with the orientation that the players are tapping their stuff. They were they were bothered, I guess, last time. Me probably announcing that is probably just going to make certain people do it. I feel like that'd be a hard thing to like. Do you think you could, if you knew it was going to like tilt your opponent and you would get an advantage by doing it? Do you even think you would be able to mechanically tap your cards for a different direction for a match? I don't think I would.
No, and I don't even think I would do that. I don't know. That's so spiky. It's funny, like, if Nils is watching this, I got to give him a hard time because when we were playing our match, I had said I had effects during his upkeep or whatever, and he thought, like, given my timing, I was trying to like trip him off of something, and I really genuinely wasn't. And he, it's like those small edges. But those are the things that probably separate, like, the good pros from the great pros. Just those little like metagame type things that I guess I don't think about as much.
I don't think it's probably worth any mental capacity to try and think those to get edges. I don't know. You probably are hurting yourself more just by not focusing on the game. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, so is that a seal cleansing that got snuck in between those spheres?
Yeah, so Ben cast Enlightened Tutor at the end of his turn, took
Okay.
damage, so Ben's actually at 6. Um, and or wait, maybe
Yep.
Tom's at 6.
Ben's at 6. Tom's
Tom's
still
at
at
6,
9.
Ben's at 9. Sorry.
No, no,
And
I think it's the other way around. Unless maybe I have it backwards. All right. Oh,
but
we'll
he cast
figure
an
it out.
Enlightened Tutor and got a seal.
Okay, so yeah, Tom is at. Tom just went down to 7. All right, so Ben is at 6.
All right, so he does go for the Tinker, and then in response, Ben cracks the Seal of Cleansing to take out the altar. But Tom's got to know that that's happening, right? So
Yep.
is he just going to search for another altar here, or excuse me, search for a Devourer and then either fling or altar?
Uh,
He needs one more mana source.
I was to say he. Would yeah he would have needed to. It looks like he's just getting
Sack the
another
Crystal
altar.
Vein.
Yep.
I mean, if he's got a land in his hand,
Yeah, the thing is though, like
wait,
if if he was getting Devour and had land and fling in hand, you would need to play the land first because this would. I guess you'd never
yeah,
pass priority, so I guess it would be safe. I was to say, um, it might get Swords to Plowshares, but uh, I guess also Ben is tapped out. So
don't you hate pants? Yes, Gabe. Homer Simpson definitely hates pants. We also got a reference to Denim Walk, a little Hurloon Minotaur reference there. I love that.
we got a 3 mana Chromatic Sphere here. All right, so how many card? Tom has 3 cards in hand. You have to kind of think that he is he able to hardcast Devour. He's got to be right. So what if Ben just plays Linsivy right now? That's probably his best route.
Yeah.
Nope, he's attacking with the Mistress Factory. So I guess that means no Linsivy because he's used his white mana. Interesting that he tapped that land as compared to the Caves of Kolios.
Been thinking here. Earthquake, maybe, in New York. Hope everybody's okay.
uh,
Thoughts and prayers.
so let's see here. Ben has. I mean, I don't think tapping down lands is very effective. Like if you tap down a Crystal Vein and an Ancient Tomb, or just 2 Crystal Veins, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential mana. I guess. Guess you're kind of cutting him off of Devour if there's not another land, but I don't know. I think so. I think Ben said go, and then he's gonna
Maybe the
use.
plan is just to get to Ben to temp himself down enough to where he kills himself with his own ancient tomb.
There's
And
no other creature that Tom can fling at Ben, right? Just plays a 4/4 and then flings it at him.
so the shields are down here.
Is this a Tinker?
It's 4. No, it's 5. Sorry. Yeah, it's probably a Tinker. Yeah, Ben's going to scoop him up,
All
it
right.
looks like.
Well, so it looks like the Devourer deck with enough time, it's able to get a bunch of lands. I mean, having those soul lands can really help. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Ben was so close. Just a little bit. I mean, like, think how different that would be if there was like earlier he would have just been able to play like a 1/1. He would have been able to attack like 7 times. So, all right,
Yep.
let's look at the sideboards
All right.
and figure out what's going to happen. So, what's in this Death and Taxes sideboard that's relevant?
Engineered Plague.
Okay. So naming construct or Phyrexian or whatever one of the creature types of Devourer
Yes.
forces Tom to do something before he combos off.
Uh, I mean, Ivory Mask could be relevant. Um,
Every mass is good, right? I mean it
yeah,
because both the effects are
like
targeted.
Fling and Alter Target. Yeah.
I guess like
Contamination.
in theory you might just be able to play a Devourer and then make it like a 5/5 and then just attack. But uh yeah, I think those seem reasonable.
I think Contamination's great, honestly,
Yeah, so
because
what contamination is trying to do is though Tom is not just dead to contamination lock because of chromatic
because of
sphere.
Chromatic Sphere. Yeah.
So I'm trying. So the way the lock works is if you have a rebel, you're always gonna have a creature to sacrifice to contamination, and eventually, I think it'd be pretty likely. Like it's not a definite lockout, but I think it's pretty likely that. I guess not necessarily because like all Tom needs to do is have chromatic sphere, alter dementia, and tinker, and another artifact, I guess.
Ah,
But
damn that sphere.
so I mean, it's still I think a good card. It will definitely prevent Tom from doing a lot of things, but it's not um, a for sure thing to
Yeah.
just win on the spot. All right, from Tom's sideboard. I mean, Rushing River just I think just always comes in. It just
Yeah.
that's the thing
It's
about the Devourer deck is
auto in.
you just always need to bring those in. There's always going to be some number of hate cards against the Devourer deck that you're expecting, so you just bring those in. We do have a raid from Old School Kurt Ape, so thank you, Andrew, for sending over or your party. Welcome
Thanks, Andrew.
everyone to the Premodern Showdown series. We have just finished game one of our first of three matches tonight, and we are sideboarding up to play our second game. So, is there anything else of interest? Is Pyroclasm something you want to do? I
I
don't
don't
think it's
know. What's
necessary,
Slim
but
City's toughness? Is it
it's a
three?
3. Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, it's probably just three Russian rivers.
I mean, and so you probably just take out our like defense grid. I think most of like Ben's interaction stuff, he like will play on the board first. Oh, I guess I think it was. Let me go back to Ben's. Oh, the Aura Silence I think is in the main deck. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
Yes.
there's one
That
right behind
one.
the smokestack.
Yeah. That's a good card against Tom.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Jared brings up bringing in Shattering Pulse. Uh, is there? I guess it's just a way to like get rid of Sphere, but I don't think you ever need to like buy it back. I guess it's reasonable. Uh, I guess it's how you want to fight things. Like I don't know if you usually think to bring that card in to fight cards like Null Rod and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
or if your opponent's like a faster combo deck and needs an artifact. Because it's kind of like you're playing a different game if you're bringing in like something to blow up a Mox Diamond or Sphere Resistance out of Ben's deck. But I think it's reasonable to bring those cards in. We have a gifted sub from Cedrident Troll. So gifted to Echo8108. So thank you, Gabe, for the gifted sub.
Thanks, Gabe.
All right. I'll jump back over to the match. It looks like the players are drawing their opening hands.
I'll give him the go-ahead.
All right, so we have Plains and Ramosian Sergeant kicking things
All
off.
right.
So the Rebel chain has started. We got
So
earthquakes
now, if you
again.
can, sorry, if you can follow that up with pressure, or excuse me, with a prison element like a sphere, then I mean, he's in arguably a much better place than he was in game one.
Yeah, and then the Ramosian Sergeant can get Whipcorder, and then they can just start beating down. Because
Well, good like good old times.
Whipcorder is always the answer. I would like to say I
Mhm.
cube drafted with my friends, and we played this weird draft format where like it wasn't like a traditional with booster packs, but basically we stopped too early and our card quality was like we were short playables. So I had to play Whipcorder in my blue green splash red deck, and so it was basically a 3 mana 2/2. And I did have a Noble Hierarch to use its ability, and it was tapping down a Grizzlebrand, and it pretty much won me the game. So Whipcorder can do mighty things, but Sphere
Wow.
Resistance also can do powerful things.
Yes, yes, it can. We got some blood from Master Decoy and Banalish Trapper.
Okay.
Played quite a few Master Decoys back when Tempest was released. The first tournament I ever played in was a Tempest only constructed event.
Okay.
I played blue-white control.
All
I
right.
took fourth.
Out of 4.
No, I think there were like 15 of us.
All right.
A Slivers deck won it, but a red deck should have
I
won
was
it.
gonna say Sligh seems pretty good. With
Yeah.
Jackal Pups and Mog Fanatics and
Curse Scroll.
Curse Scroll, Wasteland. Though you
Fire
probably
Slinger.
could make a white weenie deck that's also pretty good. Maybe I guess is it just Tempest or Tempest Block?
Just Tempest.
Okay, because you don't have like Exodus or Weatherlight then.
Stronghold.
Stronghold. All right.
Stronghold, then Exodus. Weatherlight was pre.
Okay.
Weatherlight was part of the Mirage block. For us old folks.
All right. We got a 3 mana impulse now. So Ben has up 3 mana, so he will be able to get a creature. So it will either be Defiant Falcon, Ramosian Lieutenant, or Whipcorder. I'm gonna hope for the Whipcorder.
Yeah. Yeah, comical flop. Sligh was the best for sure. A red deck, a Sligh deck actually took second, and the guy playing it should have won the tournament. It was weird that he didn't.
All right, so whose position do you like here? Like Ben kind of has, I mean, kind of what his deck is meant to do, right? I mean, play a rebel and then play a prison element. Do you think this is going to be enough to steal game 2?
I mean, it could be. Well, I mean, Tom had to play a City of Traders here, which isn't great. Ask me in 12 turns.
All right. Kindle was in Tempest, yeah, Ron.
Yep. So Tom going to take a point here. Going into 17.
He's got an altar in play, so I guess he's not threatening anything next turn because sphere resistance. I mean, if there was no sphere resistance, there might be things like land and chromatic sphere and tinker, but sphere resistance kind of takes things like that out of play, and so Tom
Yep.
is forced to play a Crystal Vein and then sacrifice that City of Traders. So here comes the Whip Quarter. All right, we're in business. So if this next one, like if Ben doesn't play anything and just gets another Whip Quarter, nope. Looks like he wants to attack. I was just say if you held off attacking this turn, got another Whip Quarter, and then you could attack with Mishra's Factory. Oh, we got something. Ivory Mask. All right.
Oh, wow.
We do have a follow from the Flying Compass, so welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
So this definitely buys Ben some time. That like the combo is just out of play right now. Ben needs or Tom needs to answer this Ivory Mask first. So this looks good, I guess, for a Death and Taxes. All right, so Chromatic Sphere is there. So the Tinker line is there, but we got to get rid of Ivory Mask first from Tom's perspective. And so now Ben's got to figure out how he can apply pressure, then also continue disrupting. I guess Tom is at 14. Well, Ben is at 16. So here we attack for 5, including the Mishra's Factory. So Tom will fall to 9. Oh, 7? Did I miss? Oh, that's 7? Okay. Missed something then. And oh, there's a shared triumph. Okay, that's what came down. So the Anthem effect adds a little bit of damage to the rebels. I guess he could have named human, but
So he's in a position. So he's got 2, 4, 5, 6, potentially 6 mana. So if he's got a Russian River and Ben doesn't do anything else, he could end a turn, Russian River, get rid of the mask, and then win if he has a way to get Devourer in play, right?
he also needs to sacrifice land because this he's Ben is going to be attacking for 7. It's going to be 2 from the sergeant, 3 from the whip quarter, so that's 5, and then with the Mistress Factory would be 7. So kicker would have to be cast on the.
Oh, there's a wasteland. That might be game over.
Okay. Timely wasteland. You just take out the crystal vein or probably the crystal vein. Maybe the.
He doesn't activate the factory, though.
Interesting. Oh, he's just got a curse scroll.
Does he have the same card in hand? Is he going to
Planes.
slow roll all
Burst
of us here?
Plowshares. Probably not swords. Swords are probably out of the deck. Um, did he pay? Oh,
Oh, yeah, he's got it.
all right. Well, Curse Scroll takes it down and evens things for this match.
All right.
So that was a very different game. That the turn one rebel made a big difference in that outcome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess that was I think like the first time I feel like I've really seen like the Death and Taxes just kind of fire on all cylinders. Like I think
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah, I
times
would
we've
agree.
seen it like where it does the disruption portion, but it hasn't always had a good board presence while it's disrupting, and we've seen it more like the first game in the Premodern Showdown series than we've had in the second game. So Ben's looking to repeat that performance and see if I mean, a lot of his hate cards are pretty powerful against the Devourer combo, and that is kind of one of the weaknesses about Tom's deck is it's so linear that it's disrupted by so many cards that if you have one of those cards to play, your deck just isn't doing anything. Like you're not progressing the board really anyway. You're spending your resources trying to find like the three copies of a card to get you out of a situation, and then like because you're not interacting with your opponent meaningfully, like they still have time to either build up their board or find other disruption pieces. So I can definitely see Ben taking this match.
Has Tom been on the play yet at all in this game?
No,
Okay. How much do you think that matters?
probably a lot. I mean, because the Devourer deck can win as early as turn two if it goes like Soul
It
Land
can.
into Altar of Dementia, and then turn two it plays like a Jeweled Amulet and then a Tinker. Well, it's not like super likely, but it is possible. But getting ahead of that sphere of resistance, I think, could be really big. So I think what Ben wants is the possibility to play sphere resistance on turn one. I think that is something that he's looking for in his mulligans to find.
I'll let them know they can start the third game whenever they're
Okay,
ready. So
that sounds good. All right, so Tom's looking at his opening hand. Is Ben? I see like orange cards to the side. Is he? Ben already made up his mind.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, that was not a card. That was a piece
Is
of
this
paper.
library?
No, maybe it's the sideboard. Maybe that's what it was.
Hmm.
All right, so Tom starts with Ancient Tomb, Mind Stone, and Jeweled Amulet.
I mean,
So
that's a turn two kill.
yes,
Wait, no, it's not. No, it's not.
well, with this extra colorless mana, if you had, you could if you had like Island here, right? Because the Jeweled
Yes.
Amulet would make
Yeah, you
colorless
could.
mana, and you
You
could
could.
play.
Yep, if he has a blue source. All right, Tom, let's see it. Oh, he just passes the turn.
Well, how many Wastelands are in Ben's deck? I feel like it's he doesn't have that many, right? Is it just one?
Let me take a look. One wasteland and none in the board.
Okay. So this Weather Wayfarer is online. He's able to get one card, but he's only able to Wasteland once, which looks like that's the line he's going for. So you're going for the Ancient Tomb?
Here comes
You're
the
going for
black
the colored
protection.
source?
Good question. Could probably go for the colored source. So Tom's going to take 3 and Rushing River. Interesting.
That seems aggressive.
Yeah.
Tom at 15. I guess he's tapped. Yeah, I guess he took three from that, casting that.
Hmm.
I guess it makes Ben discard, but he must have another one in his hand, right? That I don't know. That use of that Rushing River confuses me a bit. Maybe he's uh maybe he's thinking that Ben can have more wastelands when he can't. Like if Tom didn't realize that there's only one wasteland in the deck, maybe he's thinking about that. All right, so Ben, in theory, could have a little bit of time, but I mean, it's still kind of scary staring this down. I mean, you have to kind of think that because Tom kind of paused at the beginning of the game to like look at his hand, and if he just had everything, because I mean, the start was pretty explosive, and he had a Rushing River. Does that? I would kind of not put him on Tinker, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you do get to draw a card every turn, so
Mhm.
All right, Weathered Wayfarer comes back down. What other options does Ben have his turn? I guess like Mox Diamond sequences might be thinking about.
Is the Sergeant the 1-mana rebel?
This is Weathered Wayfarer that came back down.
Right, right. No, I'm just asking. Right,
Remosian
he can
Sergeant,
cast a
yes,
Sergeant.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, we have an impulse at end of turn, so Tom takes another point of damage. And he's pausing to pick one of these 4 cards. All right, so he'll take one, the rest go to the bottom, and now Tom will be able to take his turn. And yeah, I guess judging by his body language, it's not like everything is definitive for Tom yet. So, all right, taps for 2 mana, then plays an island. So the City Traders is gone now, but he has 2 colorless and a blue. He's using the Jeweled Amulet. He's got 4 mana. He's got okay, so he still has a colorless floating, and he's tinkering. Just getting Devourer. Nope, gets the altar.
All right. There's the other Tinker.
Oh, so he did have a colorless mana, yeah, and he used the. Okay, so I don't think there's
Do you think
anything.
Ben boarded in his Gaze Blessing?
He didn't have one, right?
No.
I was to say. Nope, looks like you dropped Tom for a sec.
He dropped the magic mic and
Oh,
left.
yeah. All right, so if someone is not familiar with this, so right now we have the Altar of Dementia. That's the way how he's ultimately going to win, but the card Phyrexian Devourer from Alliances is going to grow. So it's the 6 mana 1/1. You can remove a
Oh.
card to make it bigger. Once its power is greater than or equal to or greater than 7 or greater, yeah, 7 or greater, it's going to have a trigger to sacrifice it. But you're still able to respond to that trigger. So Tom is going to remove more and more cards to build up the power of Phyrexian Devourer, and then he will sacrifice the creature before that trigger resolves. So he will sacrifice it to the Altar of Dementia before the Phyrexian Devourer trigger resolves. So ultimately, he's going to be able to mill the entire deck of Ben. And given there is no Lin Civi in play, I think this will be the match. Okay.
Yep.
Ben has messaged game. I guess I don't. Maybe they're just chatting right now. I guess
We didn't see anyone scoop up cards. Is everything done? Okay.
All right. So, are they chatting?
Yeah, they're chatting with me.
Okay.
Yeah, he had double tinker, and it was just kind of over.
Yeah, we saw that. We just saw like it seemed like you were gonna make him go through the motions, and then it just kind of nothing else happened.
Oh so. No! His screen went blank for me.
Okay.
I couldn't see what he was doing.
Yeah, did my screen? Did my screen?
I can see it now. It got stuck, so it was like a technical snap. No, I'm not gonna make Tom go through the. I trust that he has 60 power of or 60 converter goes. Yeah.
Wait, Mike and Flint, did my screen go blank for the stream or no?
No, I mean like you flicked in real quick, but it was It was after you had like played all your cards. So
Oh,
Okay.
for whatever reason, I couldn't see it.
okay.
Whereby drama.
So Ben, your hand. Okay, so there's no Lin Civi.
No. I needed one more turn to get down. So like in 2 turns, I can get the what's it called? I don't know. I have 2 tutors, so I could get like this turn. I can get a sphere or something, and I get rid of the land, and I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna wait to see what he did. I thought I had more time to get the Ivory Mask out.
Okay. Right, so I will award the channel points to those that bet on Tom.
It was Tom.
Yes.
It was
Well,
closer than I thought it was gonna be.
Well, I mean, the second game definitely looked like your deck did everything that it was supposed to do. So, but
Yeah.
I guess like being on the draw makes it a lot harder, and like Tom's deck can be so fast. So
Yeah, in game 1, I kept a hand that was just a trap. It was one of those like, you have 2 spheres. Look how fun you're gonna have. You'll turn 1 sphere, turn 2 sphere. No one will play games, and that was not what I wanted to be.
We call that the Admiral Akbar keep.
Yeah. It was but yeah, Tom played really well. The only thing I can think of that might not have been obvious was in game 2, I was playing around staggering shot, whatever pulse, or the thing that would destroy my artifact. So I went for the fancy.
the curse will kill.
Yeah.
So I apologize, but I have to put the post game talk on hold for a moment. Tom, is that a Christmas tree in the background?
Yes. We're that family.
Okay.
No, my daughter she's been begging, so I did it like last week. The whole
all
front-
right.
the
I'll
whole
let it
front-
slide. I'll let it
whole
slide.
front yard got decorations. The neighbors probably think I'm a psychopath.
I have to
Tom,
protest.
He's just trying to deflect because there's something not in his background.
True. Yeah, Ben was like, "Where's Flint's magic artwork?"
Oh, it's because the move that Flint's doing, so he's packing stuff up. So
Yeah.
I just
Drinking
I
out of
understood. I
plastic
was told that you were a
cups.
professional, so I don't know.
You know, you make it big in the pre-modern streaming world, and things start to slide.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to go over what we did, how we sideboarded. I sideboarded out Swords of Plowshares and sided in, a bunch of and a Rebel, and I sided in a bunch of fancy stuff like Engineer Plague. Oh, that's why. No, I could. Yeah, I could have tutored for Engineer Plague. That would have been good if I had one more turn. Wayfarer, Angel. I got a second Wayfarer, an Angel, an Ivory Mask, and a Contamination. Was I supposed to get you off of blue that game 3, instead of getting your soul land?
Probably, yeah. Because I impulsed for the second Shivan Reef. So if you did, I wouldn't be able to I would have had to find another blue source.
All right, mea culpa.
But I think we went right. You didn't know. I mean, the right play is probably to go for the Ancient Tomb. That's why when you did, I was like, I got to bounce this Wayfarer to set you back basically a turn or 2 turns.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Ben, my gut was like if he gets the Wayfarer active, he wastelands, and then he's gonna start getting Ancient Tombs and getting ahead. So that was like my only way to probably stay in.
Yeah, if I had untapped, I would have Enlightened Tutor. And when I Enlightened Tutor, because I didn't know what I was getting at the time, I would have seen the Engineer Plague, and then I could have like Wayfared for an Ancient Tomb, played Engineer Plague, and that would have been pretty strong. But no, your deck's awesome. It was fast.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Is there anything that you're looking for Christmas, Tom? Anything we should?
All right, I can see where this is going. We're probably gonna wrap because we're into the time for the next match. But
Yeah.
Ben, we will see you a little later. And Tom, congratulations.
Thank you.
And yeah, See y'all next week.
Okay, well,
We'll see Ben later. So
there is a Christmas exchange on the Discord. So if you're interested in a gift, Tom, might be a cool Secret Santa opportunity.
Interesting. Well, if you'd link that for me or let me know more, I'm into that.
You got it.
All
right. Thanks, guys.
Take care. See you soon, Take care, guys. All right, let's jump over to our schedule and see what we have next. So we have John up against James. So our two currently first place players will be heading up against each other. So one of them will be in first after tonight, and then I think the other one will just be in a clean second place. So exciting match. Let's take a break briefly while we get the players set up. So I'm going to run some slides, some friends of the show. So stay tuned, everyone. We will be right back. All right, everybody. We are back from our break. We have John and James set up for our match. I want to thank Mr. Jones for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Let's get right down to the bands. So, here we go. Okay, so John's 3 decks are Survival Elves, Star Spangled Slaughter, and Prison Oath. His Star Spangled Slaughter deck has been banned, while James has Blue-Black Stiflenaught, 5-color Sligh, and Star Spangled Slaughter. His Blue-Black Stiflenaught deck has been banned. So Flint, now that you're here, do you want to predict what deck John will play and what deck James will be bringing?
Oh, wow. I think we're going to see Oath versus Sligh.
All right, let's see how Flint does. Okay, so first, John is playing Prison Oath. Good job, Flint.
Thank you. That one was the easier one. I'm a little less confident in the James pick.
All right, we've seen this deck a number of times because both Ron and John have it in the Premodern Showdown series. Do you want to talk about it briefly?
Sure. So basic prison strategy using Sphere of Resistance to slow things down. Oath against creatures to get into Neshoba and play quickly. Plays a lot of lands, ports, wastelands. Wants the game to go long and then take advantage of some big mean nasties at the end.
All right. I'll jump over to James's deck, and he's playing 5-color Sligh. So Flint is a master.
Bat 1,000.
It'd be funny if he just independently just asked the players and just was just stringing me along this entire time. But
that would be funny. I will tell you I have not.
Okay.
But now I'm gonna think about it.
So the 5-color Sligh deck that James has some of the traditional threats that a normal red Sligh deck would have, with Jackal Pups and Ball Lightnings and burn spells like Bolt and Incinerate and whatnot. But the difference is it is playing Mox Diamonds, a City of Brass, and Undiscovered Paradise, so that it can play Enlightened Tutor and then a bunch of targets to get it to help shore up the difficulties that a typical Sligh deck would have. So cards like Seal of Cleansing or Engineered Plague are key cards that in some matchups that the Sligh deck could get to really turn the tides. So in this matchup, I think Seal Cleansing will be very important. Also, in the sideboard with more copies of other enchantments, and artifacts, I guess, the Enlightened Tutor pulls more weight. So the sideboarded targets have more of a chance to show up in the sideboard games. So let's go over to our key cards. This is a match that we did see where Ron brought the Prison Oath and James brought the 5-color Sligh. So I have the same cards that I had that time, but briefly, Oath of Druids is really good because it has it looks like James, I just want to make sure that James has me muted. He logged back in and then back out because he doesn't know what deck John is on, and I didn't want him to reveal it. So yes, so I guess I'll talk about James's cards real quick. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess it would kind of tip it either way. So Oath of Druids is really good because the threat of getting the Neshoba in play will just completely swing a game. So James is always going to be sequencing his plays around Oath of Druids. And then out of the sideboard, Ravenous Baloth. So there are 3 copies in John's list of Ravenous Baloth, and I think because of the sideboarded games, kind of Oath of Druids loses in effectiveness, and a card like Ravenous Baloth could just be a big body, could gain some life, but then also can just pressure James's life total. So it kind of does it all in the sideboarded games. From James's perspective, Seal Cleansing, there's 1 copy, but there are 4 copies of Enlightened Tutor, and that is his best answer to Oath. In the sideboard, there are more copies of Disenchant and Seal Cleansing, so I would expect those to come in. All right. Flint, you ready to start and see some pre-modern, more pre-modern action?
Let's do it.
All right, let those players that we can start. I'll get up the poll. Oh, I will reset the life totals as well. All right, so who do we have on the play? We have John on the play. And I have both screens flipped around. So let's...
Turn 1 Sphere of Resistance, go. Here we go.
We have seen that before.
Okay. Well. Ooh, it's an Oath.
Turn 1, Oath. Okay. Let me throw out my poll before it's too late. So everybody, now is your chance to make a prediction. Let's see. Who will win match 2? Will it be John Grudzina or James Smits? All right, so you have a couple of minutes. Wager your points and win it big. I will adjust Flint's camera.
Oh, wow. Seal Cleansing from James here.
So he has the Seal Cleansing to answer the Oath of Druids. Very, very good from James, because now he can play much closer to a normal game. All right, we got yawn count for Flint is at 1. I think I'm at 1.
Ooh.
I might actually
Oh,
be
you
2.
busted me. Oh,
Yeah.
no. I'm sorry.
I think I'm usually the one who...
Sorry, everybody.
You could just blame me for the first one that's causing yours, though mine was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a delayed effect. We do see John porting down a mountain, but then James followed us up with a Wooded Foothills and casts a Grim Lavamancer with a little lizard on shoulder, right?
Okay, so the Grim Lavamancer. So Tom can appreciate this guy in play since we learned it is his favorite art. Yes, the Obstinate Familiar is on this one. Okay. Okay, I'm falling behind on all the things. So we're still at 2020. Okay. Life totals are correct. So now that Oath is gone, I mean, obviously if Oath stayed in play, I think James would have a lot less pressure for the entire game. I mean, this seems like a good position for John, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He's definitely has
like...
the prison
Oh,
elements with Richard and Port that he's going to be able to slow down, and he does have a Mishra's Factory that he was attacking before the Grim Lavamancer was online, but it looks like James had a bolt ready, so... All right, so James has 4 mana already, so the Richard Imports... Oh, there's a standstill. I don't think we've seen this one yet out of James in this tournament. So standstill typically in blue-white control decks, but here we have it where... Though I would argue that John's deck is pretty good at operating under a standstill. Though... I mean, the idea of a James deck is apply some pressure, and your opponent is going to have to break the standstill to answer the board position. So, but cards
if
like
John just plays a Treetop Village, that's pretty good.
And I mean, like, even if you're playing draw go for a while, the Grim Lavamancer isn't the biggest of threats. But yeah, I guess like just Treetop Village not as a I was thinking of it as a defensive measure, but yeah, using it as an offensive really could punish James. So
So we don't see Treetop Village, but John's arranging his mana here. Just for ports, it looks like. For ports and giggles.
yeah, looks like James will use the opportunity to deal 2 damage to John, which one thing that James might want to leave those other 2 in there because if a Oath of Druids came down, you want to have a spell or activation for Grim Lavamancer to kill himself. Though I guess probably by the time we get to an Oath, if James is drawing 3 cards, he's probably going to have a burn spell to use in it. So.
Yeah. He's probably got some other cards in the deck that could take care of it just in case. But he's just going to swing in for now. So a third port here from John. Everything but the diamond is tapped. Not that James is particularly keen on using his mana to cast spells now anyway.
I mean, a card he might like cast would be something like Ball Lightning. If he knew it was going to get in, like you might give your opponent 3 cards for 6 damage, but so if John gets Mistress Factory or Treetop Village, are there any other things that he can do without breaking the standstill to get ahead? I mean,
Let me take a peek.
Dust Bowl is
Dust Bowl,
fine.
Core Haven.
Yeah, Core
I mean, as silly as it is, it would work.
Yeah, I mean, you don't put it in your deck to prevent 1 damage every turn, but when it comes to it, I guess you'll do it. So would you break standstill for a card like if John had a sphere resistance? Is that something that you'd play and be willing to break the standstill? That's something that Mike was talking about in the chat.
I would do it for Klondike Bar, but other than that, I don't really know.
I mean, it seems kind of risky. Like, I guess there's not as many burn spells in James's deck as there are a traditional Sligh deck. But the standstill could break. You could draw 3 cards, and then before the sphere resolved, you could fire off some burn spells. So I don't know. And then like you get to the point where it's not like if there's any pressure from John, you could just be casting 1 burn spell every turn.
Yeah, I think John's line here really is let's draw into some lands that matter because my deck's designed to play with some sort of constraints on casting spells. And that's exactly what he's doing, right? So he gets a factory, he's got a core haven. So James is going to have to break his own standstill here.
Well, the one kind of an issue is now we're just at a standstill because the Mistress Factory won't be attacking because there's the activation of a Grim Lavamancer. So until another factory comes down or Treetop Village, I would expect both players to just draw go for a while.
Yeah, but John's hand gets better in that scenario, right? Because John just has more lands in his deck, and at some point that Lavamancer is just going to become inept.
For the most part, I agree. But I mean, like James also could build up like a position where he might be able to just kill John. Though like 14 is a good chunk of life, so I think John is feeling good. But there are a number of burn spells that like James could have, and Ball Lightning does a chunk, and I don't know, but Or is this a discard or was this him casting it? No, so it looks like
He's casting it.
All right. So fire ice will break the standstill. Was that an ice? Oh, was that an ice tapping?
Fire in the face.
Oh, it was the ace. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was. Yeah, I guess the Treetop Village is not attacking. It was just played. Swords of Plowshares might come into play just to gain life by exiling the Treetop Village or the Mishra's Factory. So we're porting during the upkeep, okay. James has an Undiscovered Paradise and then another Mox Diamond, discarding a City of Brass.
Mm-hmm. Here comes the ball.
I guess I had inadvertently.
John's gotta have a swords or he wouldn't have tapped his Core Haven. Yeah.
Alright, there is a Swords of Plowshares for the Ball Lightning. So James will go up to 25, but that, like, James' life total isn't really the relevant portion here. It's all about John staying alive and then amassing a board presence. I mean,
Yep.
he's in a point where he could cast Phantom Neshoba.
That's very true.
So you don't even need the Oath here. And I mean, I don't know how many cards he's gone through, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has a Phantom Neshoba. Yeah, I think James was avoiding playing the City Brass because that would give John a way just to deal extra damage and race him better.
A lot of diamonds in the mix here. Okay. Oh, what is this?
Looks just like a attack from Treetop Village. So I might be willing to trade a Grim Lavamancer activation and a Mog Fanatic for that Treetop Village. Okay, so it was say go from John, so he's just gonna port.
Did he pass the turn?
Maybe not.
Just making sure it's not frozen on my end.
No, I can see him. I saw him moving. I can see John's hand at the top of the whereby screen.
Oh, yes. I mean, what James says is it 2 in hand? And he's not running Fire Blast.
Yeah, 2 cards.
Interesting.
Though, I mean, like, if John doesn't kill him quickly, like, how many cards are in his graveyard? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 cards. I mean, a 6 could be the Mog Fanatic. So that's 3 activations of John's light. 3 activations of the Grim Lavamancer to have John's last total over 3 turns. I mean, cards like Swords of Plowshares also complicate that. But it's not like John is just in the clear in the spot, I would think. I think he's got to be a little bit nervous about giving James too much time, and then be able to just burn him out.
Just gonna drop an oath. Yeah.
All right, so James is probably going to have to use
Mock Fanatic on his Lavamancer after he activates.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. Jared says, I feel like John is doing the shell game with his lands. That's fair. Look over here. Oh, what about over here? Is that a squirrel? I don't know, but look over here.
All right, so there's a sphere
nice.
resistance that comes down. That could clog things up.
Yeah, John really just wants to stay alive for the next, 2 or 3 turns. And if he can do that, he's in a really good place. Starting to turn the tide back in his favor.
Yeah, because if he clears off this board, then he'll just attack for 5 with his lands.
So we're going to see 1 port activation, maybe.
Looks like it.
But he's going to keep Core Haven open, perhaps, because he maybe doesn't have another swords in his hand.
So if you're James, shouldn't you just use the Grim Lavamancer with that mana?
I'm going to say why not. I mean, he can't let Oath trigger, right? So.
No, I don't think he can. Alright, Mog Fanatic will deal a damage. And now we're using the activation, so down to 9. Mog Fanatic. Targeting your own creature, that's always something I think that's what Mog Fanatic set out to do, is just hit his own creatures.
I've been there many times against Andrew Walker's Oath decks.
Okay.
Just terrified to crack Wooded Foothills, knowing that he has Funeral Pyre. Well, speaking of which, did he just Funeral Pyre?
Yeah, it looks like it. So yeah, there's a fire waiting in the wings, so that 1 damage will go to John and the other one will take care of the token. I think James has 2 cards.
Yeah, he should. Although maybe it's just 1 because he played an Undiscovered Paradise, or did that go back to his hand?
I don't know. I would say the game is close, though. I feel like it's tipping in John's favor.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly, but I think if James gets lucky, or if I don't know what John would have to do to mess up from this point, but the Sligh deck could win. But I think it's more than likely that John has taken over this game. Because from 8 life, he has Ball Lightning covered with a card like Core Haven. So it's got to be a number of burn spells, and there's not going to be Fire Blast out of James's deck. So it's got to be at least 3 cards. Yeah. And if John has a card like Swords of Plowshares, then that screws up the math there. So I think in general, John is pretty safe. But anything can happen. Yeah, it looks like chat was saying the same thing that I was saying. I don't know if chat said it first or or if I did, but yeah, looks like we're on the same page that John is likely in control.
He's a patient player too, so I can't imagine that he will get too greedy with his plays here.
Well, the second sphere of resistance will. I mean, I think James just has to draw a bunch of burn spells and just like cast them right away. So the second sphere is not that influential, but still good for John. I guess tapping or upkeep. I guess it prevents sorcery speed, but I'm trying to think.
Well, I think he tapped one during upkeep, and then I think James probably added it for mana, and then John said, "Okay, go to your draw step," and then
Okay.
during his draw step, he tapped the next one.
Yeah, that's a good way to split it up. So if they are using the mana, they
Yep.
can't just use 2 mana from the during your upkeep. How many lands does John have in play? I bet John's like real excited that there's no price of progress out of the sideboard for James.
Oh, yeah.
Because how much damage would a price of progress deal here?
2,
Lot.
4, 6, 8, 10,
14?
12, 14. Yeah. Enough. The answer to that question is enough. I think that standstill is probably going to get boarded out in game 2.
I agree.
All right, here comes the cavalry. Back to baseline.
All right. Nice even 20 life for James. And we'll probably see the same thing. So John has. Oh, we see a bolt. All right.
5 life.
I mean, that. I guess nothing has really changed because I expected that it's possible that happened. But given that it did happen, it feels. 5 life just feels like so much less than 8 against the red deck.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I was to say he doesn't have Core Haven active, but given that there's 2 spheres in play, John does not have to fear a ball lightning coming down right now. All right, Curse Scroll. So this could just be enough, right? There's 2 cards in hand, so if one of them was a burn spell, James could cast it and then activate Scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly! So a card like Incinerate. Yeah, this is worrisome. If John doesn't have a Swords of Plowshares, what else? Does he have main deck ways? I guess if he had a main deck way to answer the Curse Scroll, he would be playing it right now. Unless he's at upkeep. Has he drawn a card for his turn yet? I guess there's 1 Enlightened Tutor. I think looks like just by the hand gestures, players are confirming life totals in some way.
He's got 2 2 Scylla Cleansing in his main deck, right?
Okay. Well, here we just have an attack for 5. So we looks like he says go, so we get to be on the edge of our seats of this game could just potentially end. I mean,
yeah,
especially if John's using port, I guess that's more of an indication that he might not have Swords of Plowshares. Because I guess he could activate Mishra's Factory and cast Swords. Oh, so name's Undiscovered Paradise. And there's 2 of those in his hand, so he'll go down to 3. James will draw. I mean, Undiscovered Paradise and a Bolt would be enough here, right?
yeah. Yeah, it was a Mox Diamond.
He's got to pay for those. Yep. Okay. All right. So now he just has the undiscovered in his hand because he drew the Mox Diamond. So cards that John needs is way to kill this curse scroll right now. He could draw a Phantom Nishoba. Though, I mean, Wasteland doesn't seem like consequential right here. Attack for 5. I mean, if James can pretty much cast every card in his... Like, he just does not want to draw Ball Lightning.
He just doesn't want to draw land, really, right? Or a Lavamancer.
Well, even if you... Any creature...
Lavamancers.
There's a Seal of Fire. And
He's gonna
that
do it.
is enough to take down John. Wow. So, John had that good position with the lock, but James just drew enough of the burn spells. And I guess James had one extra turn. But yeah, a lot of things could have gone wrong for James if a Phantom Nishoba came down or if John had access to get rid of that Curse Scroll. But that Curse Scroll dealt... Was it 4 or 6 damage? But I think it was only 4. But either way,
4.
allows James to kind of... Feels like steal that game.
Yeah, it's big for James to win game 1 because he has so much removal games 2 and 3 if there's a third. Looking at the list here. Look at those sweet bait lots though.
I mean, I think I'd just bring them in and like... I don't know if you take out Oath of Druids ever, but... Or do you just take out like Funeral Pyre? I guess that there are other... So, Circle Protection Red. So, I mean, like, obviously there are answers to that. Like, I wonder if you just, like, take out the Oaths and the Funeral Pyres and just bring in 3 Ravenous Baloth, 3 Decree of Justice, and a Circle Protection Red. And just Ray of Revelation. Ray of Revelation could actually come in against, like, Seal Cleansing. Though I guess most of the time, James might be playing it to respond to something, so you're...
Yeah. If you're worried about Engineered Plague at all, it could come in, but I don't know if James brings that in.
I think I would take out the Funeral Pyres and the Oath and just bring in Decree of Justice and Ravenous Baloth. But we'll see. So James has Disenchants and Seal Cleansings to bring in. Or any of the other cards interesting, you think? I don't think they're needed. And I'm trying to think how he boarded last time, and I can't remember. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's just the Disenchants and Seals.
Yeah, Standstill comes out. Engineered Plague, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right, I will jump over. I do have a get to know the players slide, so let's do that as they are sideboarding. So we have John Grudzina. He said his favorite thing about Premodern is the deck diversity, and I guess it wasn't him. So John didn't fill out all the answers, so I answered some of them for him. So I said John claims that his proudest Magic accomplishment is just playing in the PSS3, and his proudest non-Magic accomplishment was I once hit a squirrel with a frisbee. Actually,
that was your answer.
that's what I answered for him. Though,
oh my god,
it is true that I actually
is
did.
that from something?
No, there was one time I was at college and I was sitting and there was like a squirrel and I'm like, I'm gonna try and hit this squirrel, and I wasn't gonna hit it. Like I threw it too far in front of it, but the squirrel ran into the frisbee and I just first tried to smacked it, and so He's just kind of
Monster.
stunned, and then it wasn't like it's not like a whipped it at him, but, and it was probably like a cheap frisbee that I got at like some random event, so it wasn't like a weighted one that you would actually play Ultimate with. But yes, which Magic card have you cast the most? He says Fact or Fiction, and for best breakfast cereal, I answered for him. Fortified Oat Flakes. Have you ever heard of that cereal?
I mean, it's ubiquitous. I mean, I'd be, surprised if someone didn't put fortified oat flakes down.
So there is. My dad was just talking about this cereal, and he's like, I remember when I was younger that we had these fortified oat flakes. They like tasted so good or whatever, and they like apparently have been discontinued. And my dad was on Facebook for a short amount of time. I think he might be again, but he was part of a Facebook group to bring back fortified oat flakes. And so apparently there's this small but vibrant community that wants the fortified oat flakes to come back. So my dad's on a mission, and it's funny that that's John's favorite cereal too.
What coincidence.
Yeah. So now over to James. His favorite thing about Premodern is the constant innovation. So I guess it's kind of an extension of the deck diversity, but yeah, really cool to always be able to do new things. His proudest accomplishment is his 2 JSS top 8s. Duh. I've got at least one of those, so that is a great thing. Proudest non-Magic accomplishment, he says, still holding on to all my cards despite 15-year break. I would maybe argue that that's a Magic accomplishment. I don't know if it has to do with your cards, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going real quick because I think the players are about to start. So, which Magic card have you cast the most? He says Mana Leak, and he says his best breakfast cereal is granola. So just some quality granola. All right, we're back to Magic. We've got James up a game, and now I feel like the first game is the one for John to win with.
Yeah.
Not ease, but like there's just not as many answers that James has. But he had the Seal Cleansing, and he drew the Curse Scroll, and now there's just more Disenchants and more Seal Cleansings, and that's why I think John might transition to a more traditional game plan with the Ravenous Balos and the Decree of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Sylvan Library is led. Bring up the 5th edition one. All right. City of Brass is in play. There is a Disenchant, so he'll use the Disenchant on the Sylvan Library. All right, we got the treetop villages are coming to town. So now we got sphere resistance. So this seems like a good start for John. Like, I'd be willing to activate my treetop and just try and clock James from this perspective. I guess you have a little bit of risk of it dying to a burn spell, but given that you still have another treetop village, that doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world.
The Crypt.
So this Crypt, what is that because he's just thinking like it's good against Oath, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a card I'd be bringing in.
I don't think I'd bring it in either.
I guess maybe he brought in one because of the Enlightened Tutors, but it seems very situational. I'm trying to think of. Oh, it does counter Funeral Pyre, but I still don't. I feel like you have enough effects to do that.
Yeah.
But maybe there were just worse cards. I guess Engineered Play kind of answers in that same vein. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Maybe James has felt like, but he has so many cards he wants to bring in. but maybe he took out a bunch of Jackal Pups. I don't know. Okay, so we've got the lightning bolt that's pointed at John, and the Monk Fanatics chipping away. Ron says he took out the pups for sure. I don't know. I mean, like, certainly on the play, I think I'd be inclined to keep them in because it's kind of like you just look them at it as a burn spell if for most of the time. I guess you need to have it right away before Oath comes down. But then also, he has so many answers to Oath. Like, Jackal Pup seems fine. Like, that's what I think he did against you, Ron, didn't he? Didn't he kill you with Jackal Pup? But I guess Manlands get in the way of Jackal Pup pretty well, but I don't know.
Ron says he lost to Vortex.
Okay.
Shots fired. James is just gonna burn him out. He says, "Hey, here's another incinerate. Here's an incinerate to go with that bolt that I cast earlier. You
Yeah.
can have your library in your sphere."
I mean, the Mog Fanatic got it in for some chips, and so I didn't notice the Source of Plowshares was feels like kind of like a not a desperate move, but something that where John feels like he needs to just get rid of that Mog Fanatic.
Ooh, no Sylvan libraries for you, John.
Well, James is definitely doing what he can to keep John off of Sylvan Library.
Yeah, Jared, I like the Mirage art for Incinerate as well. Although I tend to use the Arena promo when I play.
Is Ice Age the only other option, or is there one that I'm forgetting?
Is there a portal one, or am I?
And then there's Volcanic Hammer and Portal, so I don't think there's.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, that's the alternate one.
The 10th edition one is actually pretty sweet. I don't know if this will come up. No, that's not the one I wanted. But
So the question here is whether or not
I don't think it's
John
in
says-
7th. No, it's not in 7th. All right, back away from the Incinerate art talk.
Yeah, the question is whether or not he starts attacking. It looks like he's going to get in with the village.
And with two villages in play, or there's a bunch of manlands in play. So if James has kind of used all his gas per se on the land or on John's face, if James doesn't apply pressure and John just wants to go for it, he can really put pressure. Because how much can John attack for next turn?
6.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have. There's a Swords to Plowshares for the Grim Lavamancer that James played. Yeah, I mean, this seems good that you're able to now spend your mana and attack. I guess you might be worried about something like a Ball Lightning dealing a big chunk of damage.
Yeah. Oof, that Windswept Heath, not ideal.
The 5th edition Incinerate. Yeah, this one would not be my pick.
No.
So how many cards does James have? It looks like one. And I think John might be in a similar position. But we're almost hold on. 1, 2, 3. We're almost a Phantom to show up mana.
So leaving one white untapped, but that's not enough for a swords.
Yeah,
against a
since
ball lightning.
the sphere of resistance is play, but he's attacking for 6 here, so I think he's just saying, like, because you're not dead to ball lightning alone, and you can just attack back. Oh, he's at 7. I mean, you'd be able to, with a land, you'd be able to attack with the Mishra's Factory. I guess you'd be able to. Oh, James says there's no way out of this position for him, so John will even things out. So,
All right.
I guess the man lands are just kind of what John needs in this matchup. Yes, there is no Fire Blast from James. All right, I'll bring up the decks again. So we did see Tormod's Crypt, which I am a little surprised. Huh. All right, so we are going into a game 3. We have James on the plate. Who do you like to take down this match, Flint?
I mean, I think James is favored being on the play in this third match. Although it's not the traditional Sligh favoritism, right? Because the traditional Sligh, I think, is harder for the Oath deck, just given how fast it is.
I was surprised in that last game how quickly John was able to kill James. It felt like that game didn't go that many turns. I guess
It didn't.
I guess
no.
John did
Well,
have like 7 lands in play, but still.
it's a bit of a contrast effect, just given how long the first one went. But yeah, it wasn't too many. Who do you have?
I would have said James, I guess, though. I don't know, like something like if my gut is just telling me that John's gonna win. I don't. I guess I'll say John because that's just what my gut is telling me. But if you would have asked me at the beginning of the match, I would have said James is gonna win. So we do have a subscription, Prime subscription from OS Steli. Is that
Is that Sean?
Sean? Yeah, that's
Sean, is that you?
Sean was one of the members of Premodern Showdown Series 2, which was our
Hey.
Brewer's Paradise. So hi, Sean. Thank
Welcome,
you.
Sean.
Thanks for the support. Good to have you. Did you say who you thought was going to win? I think you picked James.
Yeah, I think he's slightly favored on the play, but we'll see.
All right, Sean's on the Ice Age Incinerate train. I think most. I guess I would say any of them are fine. I would hesitate if you said that the 5th edition one was the strongest. I'll play an Ice Age one, I think, sometimes, but I like the Mirage one the most.
Yeah. I'll let them know that they can get started whenever. So it looks like
I think John is debating.
John's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any cards you think he's looking for in particular, or is it just the combination of the lands and spells he has just aren't effective enough, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't played that deck.
I mean, Oath would be the most polarizing card in terms of like things you're thinking about, but
Looks like he was just deciding which one to put on the bottom.
okay. Would Winter Orb not be a great card for James in this match? Winter Orb would be very good against the Oath deck. I mean, I guess it can backfire in certain situations when, like, because John does have Mox Diamond and Rishadan Port, and those two are very good. But James, in general, John's the way when he wins, he is a mana hungry deck. If he's not oathing up a solution,
I want to say James's first version of this deck actually had a Winter Orb, but maybe I'm misremembering.
I would not be surprised. But I think in just most of the matchups, it was not high impact enough. All right, so James has a Mox Diamond along with a land, and then plays a Grim Lavamancer. And John just has a Mishra's Factory. A nice, pretty winter one.
Nice, pretty winter one with Christmas lights up. So Tom, you're not the only one who's repping Christmas a little early here.
Yeah, one of my radio stations is already playing Christmas music. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just not listening to this.
Yeah. Too soon.
All right, we have a turn 2 Sulfuric Vortex. That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
This could be very problematic for John. But I mean, there are opportunities. There's already a Mishra's Factory in play. There are treetop villages in the deck. Like, there are situations where John can race, but it's just not what his deck typically wants to do, and it's not set up. So, in general, I think you would say this is going to favor James pretty significantly. All right, so the Mishra's Factory stays back, so that means the Grim Lavamancer can't attack unless James has a burn spell. Here we have a Ray of Revelation. All right, so a nice clean answer, and now it's in the graveyard for
Indeed,
flashback.
it is.
And James just says go. Oh, I guess the Ray was at end of turn. Okay.
Yeah.
If you just boldly attack with a Grim Lavamancer, do you think you can bluff that and convince John not to activate his factory?
Maybe.
It's one of the situations, like, I think most of the time it's not correct to make those type of plays, because usually the cost is just so high. But I mean, John's got to be a little wary of just losing his land, so I don't know. That might be a spot where you could bluff a burn spell. All right, Sylvan Library is in play. Will this one stick around?
Third library is the charm, right?
And he adds a sphere resistance. Oh, James will respond with a fire ice. This one was for damage, okay.
2 to the dome.
And then I think 2 more. I think he's using the Grim Lavamancer. So wait, I had John at 13. James has him at 15, and John has him at 14. So now he's at 13. Okay.
And he has the seal. Wow.
All right. Well, Sylvan
Always
Library
has
never
it.
stays.
Well, I guess technically he brings in 2 more, right? So
Yes.
yeah, it's fair. All right, so John getting in.
Do you want to send them a message about life totals? Because think John has his life total correct and James has it wrong. But This does seem like a matchup where it is pretty relevant to have the life totals correct. Ron says that the difference was from a fetch land. Okay.
All right, he's got it.
All right. How many cards does James have in his hand? 2?
At least.
All right. Because this is, I mean, I guess I said this in the first game, but this is kind of a spot where you kind of like John's position. We have a seal cleansing, so are you taking out that Mox Diamond? Because how many other like really good targets, like Curse Scroll would be an impactful card, but there's only one. Doesn't seem that great to save it for like a seal cleansing. He does use it on the Mox Diamond. Okay, so we'll use that mana to activate Grim Lavamancer. Down to 11.
I mean, it does cut him off white mana, right?
Yes. And green mana, and blue mana, and black mana.
And black mana.
Oh, not anymore.
Oh, never
but
mind.
it's, I mean, like, tapping that City of Brass definitely is relevant. Like, there will be situations, I think, that this game will come down to a race. We saw that earlier. Yeah, and John does have a Wasteland. Yeah. Ron points that out.
James is probably pretty happy to get another card in his graveyard, though.
That's true.
Interesting that he takes the point from it when it's just red mana. Does he have a bolt in his hand or something?
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess it well, I was gonna say it bluffs a spell, but he could have also just using that Lavamancer there cost him 2 extra points of life. Yeah, so I think that sequence was actually pretty bad. Like James took an extra 3 damage that he might have not taken, because if he leaves the Lavamancer untapped and lets the city just die, John can't just attack freely because of the Grim Lavamancer activation.
Yeah.
Another City of Brass is played by James, but okay, and that is a Dust Bowl, correct? There's a Core Haven and a Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
So John could continue his, I don't know if it's a plan, but the sequence of destroying James's colored mana. But it looks like, right, when there's a bolt pointed, if he's down to 6. Now he's going to go down to 4.
And Lavamancer is doing work.
Yes. James takes the damage down to 10. Would this be a spot where you kill the City of Brass? No. I mean, yeah, if there's not like a Swords of Plowshares in John's hand, he needs a Ravenous Baloth, but he takes a point to cast the Ravenous because he only has 1 green mana currently. The Windswept Heath would need to be used. Yeah, I feel like it's difficult for John to find a way to win without taking 4 damage over multiple turns. Because pretty much any card that James is able to cast is going to end up in the graveyard one way or another, right? Or dealing damage. All right, so this is a Decree of Justice for 2. Okay, so John could attack for. Ooh, there's a Russian import, so maybe that's the reason not to blow up the city brass. All right, this is very close, and that 3 damage that James took that turn could definitely come into play. So he's just attacking with the tokens. I guess there's only one card. There's only a Mox Diamond in James's graveyard, right?
Yeah. He doesn't want to blow up the city.
I feel like
Because
you
then he
need to
just
attack
gives
with that
James a
Mistress
card
Factory.
exile.
What does the mana do holding that back? So you're gonna port. I guess you don't have Core Haven mana. But if you are porting, but this disenchant is basically putting a card in the graveyard. That's the important part.
Yeah.
I mean, it kills sphere resistance. Okay. So this Grim Lavamancer will use the other 2 cards. Oh, so John, if John has a Swords of Plowshares here, would he use it on his own card? Okay, he's gonna fetch right now. Go to.
No, he's
Oh,
death
Oh,
bowling.
he's Death Bowling?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I would Dust Bowl. Like, I feel like I would just use the Rishadan port, and it's a source of damage. Because are there that many? Well, I'm trying to think if like cutting him off of the mana like prevents certain cards from going to the graveyard. But so it prevents Disenchant from getting cast, because Disenchant would be able to kill the Mox. But Seal of Cleansing, you'd be able to. Wouldn't matter because it's sorcery speed. All right, so John's gonna go to 2, and this is.
Oof. He's gonna just finish it off with another Seal of Fire here.
Wait, are there? Is the Mox Diamond not exiled? Was there an extra
No, it
card?
was a City of Brass and a Disenchant.
Oh, okay. And now we have Fire
Incinerate.
Ice, Incinerate.
Sphere to the Night.
Yeah, so a real nail biter of a game, but
Ooh.
James is able to burn out John. So that, I think the last time we had seen this matchup, I feel like the games were very, very different. So yeah, definitely super close and could have gone either way. I'm going to jump over to the players and we can listen into them briefly.
Bail up is just too valuable. Yeah.
Turn them off. Yeah. Game 2 Manland beatdown just took it to me.
Yep.
Game 1, I was like very iffy on whether or not that standstill was the right play, but I also didn't have action, so I needed to buy a few turns.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was the right play.
Yeah. Yeah, well, at the time he didn't have any manlands, I don't think. So.
Yeah, but I've got so many.
Yeah.
Hey guys, can you hear us?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, well those were nail biters of games. I mean, like, definitely at spots I thought like John was in a good position, and like the first game I thought I'm like, okay, he's got like 10 life, and there's only like 1 card in James's hand, and then yeah, he's gonna have a number of turns, but then burn spells came and just finished John off, and then the second game I felt like John closed out the game pretty quickly with attacking with the manlands, and then that last game was just trying to fight the Grim Lavamancer, and there were enough cards that you could fuel the Lavamancer to finish off John.
Yeah. I mean, it was very unfortunate. I didn't see any bailouts for swords that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Lavamancer was one game 3, and just having enough cards in my graveyard. I feel like I had a hand that was actually pretty graveyard heavy there, which is valuable, obviously. Yeah.
James, we saw the Tormod script in game 2, and I guess I wasn't thinking that card would come in. What was the reasoning for bringing that in?
I need to take Jackal Pup out.
Okay.
I need to take Standstill out.
Okay.
I need to take Engineered Plague out. I guess I could put it on Spirit or something.
Sure.
Yeah, and I thought more valuable there, especially if there's a world in which I do see an Oath. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it was better than what was in my deck.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think Jackal Pup's pretty dead because it can't kill itself.
Yep.
And so I have to expend on it, which could be bad for my life total. So, and also just down a burn spell, which I really need in this a tight matchup. Yeah, I feel like games 1 and 3. It was interesting because I played this last week, 2 weeks ago against Ron, and those were close games. But I felt tonight's match was much more nail biter.
Yeah, it's close.
Got away by the hair on my chinny chin in games 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep you guys too long because we are already running a little bit late. But is there anything you wanted to add or anything specific about the matchup that you wanted to talk about briefly?
I was surprised my Dreadnought got banned, actually.
Well,
yeah,
I know.
I mean, I basically thought that was probably the one deck that I thought you were going to ban my Oath. And at that point, I don't really want to play Elves or, Patriot is decent against it, but I just didn't feel like playing against a deck that can just poop out a 12/12 on turn 1.
Fair.
That's an interesting visual.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah, if something is pooping out a Phyrexian Dreadnought, I do not want to see what that creature is because that is scary.
Maybe it's the BFG.
Yeah, I figured actually. I thought that one of my other decks was going to get banned. Though we're both playing Patriot this tournament. So I don't know. I guess I did ban your Patriot just because I felt it had strong matchups against both Dreadnought and the 5-color Sligh deck. Just because the tempo, at the end of the day, it's a better tempo deck than my 5-color Sligh is a tempo deck. So. I wanted to play against Elves.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to play against Elves in this tournament. So.
Well, you suited out your deck so that there's really no good matchup for Elves.
I know.
So you're never going to play against it.
We're gonna have the James Smits rule next time, where you can't have multiple decks with Fire Ice.
It's a good card, man.
It's good. Great in this
Only the
meta.
other split cards were decent.
Yeah, one deck has fire and the other one has ice, so it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
you have
right.
to literally cut it in half. Or you have to mix and match split cards. You have to cut up Wax and Wane and somehow mash them together.
Awesome.
But yeah, good match, Sean. Super tight.
Yep.
Very
Good
much
games.
could have gone both ways. So yeah, I think it's the first time I've beat you in a monthly too. So
Yep.
Technically, it's not a monthly, so you still haven't
Yeah.
done that. It's just
Monkey's
me.
not off your
I
back
still
yet.
haven't beat Clint in a monthly either. Who's keeping track at home? Not me, definitely.
I don't know. Anyway, well, yeah, thanks for the games, guys. We are going to wrap it up so we get the third and final match going. But congrats, James and John. Good luck next week.
Yep.
Yeah, good plan. Thanks.
Bye.
All right, we will bring up our schedule real quick. So we are looking at another match with Ben as he plays Ron, and so I'm going to go to our little break as we get our players set up, and we'll try and make it quick because I know we're already running late. So we will see you shortly. All right, everybody, we are back from our second break. So we have our third match of the night. We have Ben again. He took a break and now he's ready for revenge. He's up against Ron.
He licked his wounds and he went through an intensive training montage, and now he's ready.
All right. Do you think you watched like an inspirational movies? Maybe that's what it is. All right, the decks that Ben
He
has.
watched all the Rocky films.
Yes, on turbo mode. Survival elves, death and taxes, zombies. Zombies again is banned. This is the wrong slide, but let me hold on. I've got it. I'll bring it up.
Wait for it.
It is true though. His zombies deck is banned, but he is playing against Ron now. Ron has Suicide Black, Replenish, and Prison Oath. Prison Oath has been banned, so we won't see that deck again tonight. All right, Flint. Take 5 seconds and call shot. What are they playing?
I think it's gonna be Rebels versus Replenish.
Okay, let's figure it out. Oh, I almost trying to think which I might have to update something. Let's see. This is probably the wrong slide. 3 matches have done it. So Ben is playing Death and Taxes again. So
All right.
we just saw this one earlier. So quick rundown: Prison Element with Tangle Wires and Smokestacks and Sphere of Resistance. Then it has Rebels, which allows it to play under those cards, tries to get a little bit of board pressure, and then disrupt an opponent to take over a game. And I don't know if this will be Ron's deck. Yes. So Ron is playing Suicide Black. So a very aggressive
What?
all-in black deck where he is looking to flood the board with creatures and get in early damage, maybe close out with some shadow creatures or a big Phyrexian negator. But,
That was brave. What if Ben had picked elves?
I think, well, there's 4 engineered plagues in the sideboard.
Okay, fair enough.
And dystopias. So I think
So he hopes to win games 2 and 3.
I'm pretty sure Ron has built all his decks where he's fine playing against elves with any of his
Fair
3
enough.
decks. So I
All
think
right.
Ron is happy with the elves matchup with this. That's my understanding. So all right. Now this is something I might need to refresh real quick. Key cards of this match. I don't even know if I don't even know if I have one together for this. Okay. Well, anyways, let's just jump down the match. I don't think I have this slide ready. So
Okay, I'll let him know to start.
let's go down. I've got all right. Third match has really thrown me off because usually I have two different scenes set up, and a third one has really thrown me for a loop. All right, I'll reset these life totals. I will reorient our play screens, given that these are flipped, and we'll get to it. Who is on the play? Do you know?
I think Ben is.
Okay. It looks like it. Mox Diamond is let off. I will throw up the poll if I can find it. Everything is frantic. All right. Give people their points for that last match. And now, who will win match 3?
All right, so we see casual zombie here from Ron in response.
A casual zombie? Like business casual?
Always business casual for zombies.
Okay. It's another day at the zombie office.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think like the zombie office is like? Especially like before they've had coffee.
Probably a lot of moaning and groaning. After that, it's brains and TPS reports.
Yes. I had a bad day at work one time and I just started watching clips of Office Space.
Nice. Mike Judge gets it. So Ron did pay for a life for the old snuff out.
Okay. I am just trying to catch up on all the things. Where are we at for
No
life
worries.
totals?
I'll
is
commentate while you do that.
Ron
So
is
you
at
pay for
16.
it,
Okay.
but Ben does follow it up with Remosian Sergeant and a Tangle Wire. Ron does have a swamp, so I have to imagine, yep, we're going to see another zombie here. If only you could tap enchantments to Tangle Wire, alas. And he's got his Nightmare Before Christmas. So in some way, it's kind of an appropriate, intermediary space between Halloween and Christmas here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a confirmed. Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
I think you could count it as both, but I typically watch it as a Christmas film because that's where like predominantly the plot takes place. Like it's Halloween Town, and that's the first 5 minutes with the Halloween song, but after that, it's all focused on Christmas. So I usually watch it around Christmas time, but I could totally see it as both or Halloween.
I can't remember, but I think like it was released. Oh, I'm trying to adjust your screen. Okay, there we go. I think it was released as a Christmas movie, but I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I looked it up once. I'm glad everyone's probably very thankful that I just told them that. I looked it up once and I can't remember the answer. That's very
I did look it
productive.
up once. I should get credit for that.
All right, well, we got Sarcomancy tokens.
Yes, we do. Looks like he's going to tap them down.
That's what tokens are for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Skittering Scourge?
It is a Skittering Scourge.
Which Miley Cyrus song is he singing tonight?
Ooh, so was it Wrecking Ball last time?
Yes. I know which one I want him to sing.
What do you want?
So Miley did a cover of Jolene, the Dolly Parton song, and so that was the first one that came to my mind. So
I'd like to think it's a Miley Cyrus covering a Nine Inch Nails song from that Black Mirror episode. What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know that one.
Oh, you have to watch that episode. It's so good.
Can we focus on Ben's board and the card that just came into play?
Fine, he's got a whipcorder.
Whipcorder. All right. All is good in the world.
That's what you wanted me to say. Now we can talk more about Miley Cyrus.
Mike says they do Haunted Mansion at Disneyland up with Nightmare Before Christmas during December. So Disney says it's a Christmas. What if they do the same thing around Halloween?
Probably save money on props.
Yeah. All right.
Whipcorder's getting in there.
Which is not something it always gets to do. I guess. So what does that mean? Because if you could still use its ability to tap the Skittering Scourge and oh no, looks like we're casting Lynn Civvy. Lynn Civvy. She's in the house.
Indeed.
She'll block a 2/2. Unless. No. I was going to say Lord of the Undead, but that's the wrong deck. Yeah, I think I was making the slides and I was like saying that Ron's important cards were Shepherd of Rot and Gempalm Polluter, and then I'm like, oh, he's not playing Ben's Zombies deck. He's playing Suicide Black. Because I was anticipating the board to get kind of like stalled out, and then Ron would just be able to finish the game. But I got the decks wrong, so. Alright, Skittering Scourge does get to attack, though.
It does. And Ron's got some recursion here for Recurring Rebels as well with this Curse Scroll, which is nice.
Yeah, Curse Scroll is real good.
You just hit the Whipcorder here,
or? Yeah, because you can't get Lynn Civvy, so. Unless you're going to the face. Well, yep. Looks like it was a hit. How many Cabal Pits is Ron playing?
I don't know, but you know what Ben's thinking? Either way, it's the pits.
I'm just trying to think if does he have another Cabal Pit in his hand, or was it a 50-50 shot?
We'll probably know after the game. I don't think Ron will reveal that. If I know Ron. Slippery Ron, as he is now known.
What was Slippery? Why is he slippery? I thought it was Sneaky.
Yeah, it was Sneaky, but he's owning Slippery now. If you
Oh.
saw the chat at the beginning of our broadcast, he was totally owning Slippery. So
I was all about the Sneaky. I like the Sneaky.
I like Sneaky Ron better myself, I have to say. Not just because I came up with it. Actually, it's probably a little bit because I came up with it.
What creature type is being named, do you think? Well, it's either rebel or human, right? Because it wasn't there's like a slight overlap. I think Defiant Falcon is a rebel but not a human, and Weathered Wayfarer is a human but not a rebel. Something like that. Probably name rebel, because making a 2-power flyer is probably relevant against Skittering Scourge. Though, okay, well, there's a Curse Scroll. Still 2 cards in hand. Curse Scroll, Skittering Scourge. A little bit of tension there.
A little bit. So he's going to use the tomb to activate Lancivia here.
He's
Maybe
probably
get
getting
another
another Whip
Quarter.
Quarter.
Great minds, Michael. Great minds.
And now it's a 3/3, so it can't be Curse Scroll that did.
Those darn plurals. Throwing us all for a loop this evening.
So, I mean, all things that's happened, I feel like I might lean towards Ben in this spot. Right? Like,
It's looking pretty good for him.
Like Whip Quarter can keep a Skittering Scourge, and then the Rebels can just come out to play. And Ron is kind of decide whether he needs to get rid of the Skittering Scourge and play more creatures, or the Curse Scroll just gets less and less effective. Wait, so why is Ben was at 11, now he's at 8? Oh, did he take a hit from... Oh, he took a hit from the Skittering Scourge. Skittering Scourge is seen its final day as Dothy Slayer takes his place.
He shall skitter no longer.
I guess Dothy Slayer is harder to block than Skittering Scourge. So,
A bit.
though it's... I guess it also unlocks Ron's hand that over turns he'll be able to play more cards. We have an attack with a Ramosian Sergeant. That is a trade with a token. Ron will take 2 damage. Looks like I missed some attacks. And will reveal Drinker of Sorrow to deal 2 to Ben.
Ron just really wanted to close this game out as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think Swords of Plowshares is what Ben needs. And he might need to use it on his own guy.
So Dothy Slayer, hard to block, but easy to tap down. Oh, wow. Wait. Did he not activate his first scroll before he played the second one?
There's still a Drinker of Sorrow in his hand.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Threw me for a loop with it on the battlefield.
Well, how quickly can Ben deal damage? Whip quarters in play.
Pretty
This
quickly.
is a tight race with the shared triumph in play. Like this is a lot of damage. 1, 2,
3,
8.
6, 9.
He could attack for 10 if he attacked with the Mistress Factory. And that would turn off the Cabal Pits, but I guess there's also a blocker. And I don't think you want to do that against the Shadow Creature. I think you need your Whip Quarter, so... Yeah, this is really tight. I'm not exactly sure who's going to come out on top of this.
Ron is going to scroll and then draw a Karavek Spite.
All right, Flint's called it. Called shot.
He's going to draw the 1 in the deck.
In my cube weekend, I was playing against my friend, and he was thinking like his back was against the wall. I was in a very good position, and he's thinking, and I just go, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna top deck Bonfire of the Damned and kill you. And I didn't even need to, but my next card was Bonfire.
But
of the
you
Damned.
did.
And so little extra there was just burn him out. So, Flint, if someone had submitted Pox, Pink Prison, and Stasis as their 3 decks for the Premodern Showdown series, would there have been any opposition as the organizer, or would you have approved all 3 of those?
I mean, technically it doesn't violate the rules, but I would question like the spirit of the series. Just given that we encourage people to play different kinds of archetypes.
Yeah. Pink Prison is your aggro deck, Stasis is your control deck, and Pox is your prison deck. I guess Pink Prison probably has to be your prison deck, given the name.
No, it's totally an aggro deck. I'm going to aggressively destroy lands and creatures.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here? We got a Remosian Sergeant coming into play.
Yeah, Ron just played a Carnophage in his turn. So life totals, Ben's at 4, Ron's at 5.
Oh. Ron being at 5 is relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I think if people submitted those decks, we might have to reimpose the time limit.
All right, so Cabal Pit is not like City of Brass. Whenever it's tapped, it has to be activated. So Merchant of Port won't deal an extra damage, but looks like the factory is getting fired up. I don't know if this is enough. Also, what if... Oh, I guess if... I was going to say, what if Ben had gotten Defiant Falcon, but Defiant Falcon would have got shot down by a Curse Scroll? Okay, so everything's coming in. So basically, Ben has to kill him here, right? And you could just block 2 creatures, 2 Whip Quarters, and Curse Scroll the Mishra's Factory, but you take a damage to scroll down the factory. So you'd go down to 4 and then take 4 from the rebels. So unless I'm missing something, this is lethal, right? If I do my math correctly, I think Ben does have it. All right?
Yeah.
Ron scoops it up. That was a nail biter too. Like, geez. I love it when like it comes down to just the nail in like a combat like that. Like I don't know. That was some good magic.
That's some good magic. Well, and we actually get to see the Rebels deck do what Rebels decks are supposed to do, and it works pretty well, right? Like he didn't play a lot of prison elements there. He just said, "Hey, I'm going to run out these Rebels. I'm going to get more Rebels, and I'm going to beat you down."
Yes, indeed. So what's coming in? I mean, that shared triumph was very good in that first game. I'm guessing another one's coming in. Is Engineered Plague effective at all against Duran? I don't think so.
I don't think it's great. No,
But
he's
I mean,
just
if you
too much
think
of
of
a
it from a
variety.
perspective, because you do have creatures, like it's kind of like another shared triumph. Like if you had if it was another shared triumph, if there were two shared triumphs in the board, would you bring them both in? I guess it's different because it doesn't shrink all of Ron's creatures as
It's
like
too
shared
narrow. I
Okay.
wouldn't bring it. I wouldn't bring it in.
Right. I'd bring an Exalted Angel, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Does Ivory Mask interact in any like real positive ways? I mean, Curse Scroll, but
No, but the one below it looks pretty good.
oh, Light of Day, I guess, yeah. Light of Day is pretty good.
Yeah.
I
Just
forgot
a
about
bit.
that one. That one, yes, will definitely be a card that Ben is looking to cast. What set is
I would
that from?
imagine so. What?
What set is that
What's
originally
that?
from?
It's Tempest or Stronghold?
Tempest, I
I think
think.
it's Tempest.
Yeah. Yeah, Tempest. All right, so Ben's deck definitely gets better with 4 Enlightened Tutors and a Light of Day. So what does Ron do about a Light of Day? He's got some dystopias. Got to redo this picture. There's some Diabolic Edicts that didn't show up. I never noticed that. Is this the first time Ron's played this deck?
No, I think he played it one other time.
Okay.
Dystopia, Plague, right?
Yep. I mean,
You
Engineered
take out.
Plague is fine, but like it doesn't kill. It kills Weathered Wayfarer, or it kills. If you name human, it would kill Weathered Wayfarer, but Ramosian Sergeant, and Defiant Falcon if you name Rebel. But then like Linsivy still stays, Whipquarter still stays. I mean,
You just name human, right? And he kills everything but the Falcon.
but it doesn't kill everything, is what I'm saying. But it's still probably good enough because it just makes your creatures bigger than Ben's, and like the tempo is just too much, I think. But what are you taking out?
That's a really good question. I'm just looking at Ben's list real quickly. Um,
Are you bringing in Duress just to hope to get Enlightened Tutor
I think it's too narrow.
or the Light of Day? Too narrow. I mean, it's not like it. It's not like it won't hit a lot of the time, but it just. Do you care if you take a Tangle Wire or a Sphere Resistance? I don't know if you do.
Smokestack or the one scroll. I don't think those are as impactful, but maybe it's just me.
Yeah, maybe you take out a card like Carnophage, but I don't know. It seems like you just need to take out the bigger creatures.
I think he wants to just hit as hard as he can, as fast as he can,
Yeah.
especially on the play. So he's got a board in a way that just allows him to do that. I mean, I'm looking at Ben's list here, and he doesn't have like a lot of creatures. It's interesting. But most of them are humans.
Most of them are rebels too.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it just one Weathered Wayfarer and one Defiant Falcon, and the rest are
Yeah.
human rebels?
And assembly workers.
Are there
Just
sinister
assembly
strengths
workers.
in Ron's list? Oh, there are. Okay. Yeah, I guess with Whipquarter and Swords of Plowshares, there's probably just too many answers.
Yeah.
Oh man, Flint, do you want to become famous?
Man, I tried clicking on so many of those.
You can talk to Peroni, who's now been banned.
Well, I guess I can't.
I do want to become famous too, so being famous would be cool. But
I don't know. It sounds like a burden.
I don't know. I probably like the limelight a lot more than you do, so I like attention. All right, we've got a match going.
All right, let's do it.
Nope, I went to the wrong screen. Let's try this again. Here we go. That looks a little bit better. All right. We've got a swamp from Ron, and then Plains and Mox Diamond.
What do you make of that start from Ron? I mean, that feels like the worst possible start for him.
If it
Did
were a
he keep
Cabal
like
Pit,
a reactive hand?
Cabal Pit would be worse. Or no land at all.
You know what I mean.
Well, Ben's really taking
I mean,
advantage of that Mox Diamond and just turboing out this Remosian.
He played a land, so technically it's not the absolute worst, but I mean, it's too slow is my point.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if he has a card like that he feels is really good, like Dystopia. That would be maybe a reason to keep a slower hand.
Yeah.
Because if Dystopia stays on the board, that is definitely very powerful. We got Whip Quarter. Whoop whoop. The crowd goes wild. Mike says my sister was a guest on Jay Leno and the front page of LA Times. Man, she must have like clicked on those bots and figured it out.
Here you are banning people. Like,
Yes.
we could be on the Jay Leno show. But I actually do not like Jay Leno, so I think I'd be okay with that.
I never watched it when he was on air, so.
Yeah.
I do know he
Look,
owns a lot of cars.
He does, and he's very smug about it. If it were Conan, I'd be all about it.
Mm.
Conan is the best and always will be. There's Dystopia, Mike.
All right. So there's a source of plowshares to answer the shade. So Ron will go back up to 20. Is that correct?
Seems right.
Ron has him at 21. Hasn't he taken 2 damage from... Or no, maybe only once. Alright. Got these life totals backwards. I'm just scrambling to figure this out. Ron's at 20, I think. And Ben's at 18. There's an Aura of Silence. That's a good one to follow up for the Dystopia. I think he'll be sacrificing it, but using its own ability and not letting it go to the next turn.
Yeah.
It does prevent Ron from playing Curse Scroll right here.
Indeed it does. So we see the Scourge. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like Ben's chances here.
I mean, it's not like... I mean, if Light of Day comes online, I guess then... But, I don't know, I feel like even if that Rebel wasn't tapping, what would he be getting that would be so potent?
I mean, nothing like this turn. It's just, it's a slow start for Ron. And Ben had the opportunity to add to his board. Oh.
Backup Lieutenant?
Second Lieutenant.
Yeah. He's like, well, the first one died, so now I'm the first lieutenant. All right.
Ooh.
And there is a curse scroll. He's able to use it right away. thanks to a
It's
dark
another
ritual.
scourge.
So Ben is looking for light of day. That's what he wants to do.
Pretty good.
But he's got to find it somewhat quickly because Curse Scroll will be able to deal some amount of damage, I think, or just keep Ben from amassing a board state if he has the smaller creatures. All right. Well, there was no light of day there. Skittering Scourge gets to do his thing. And Ron has a land, so he's still able to activate Curse Scroll. I don't know.
Pretty good.
I'm getting nervous for Ben's sake. It doesn't seem good anymore. Oh,
Tide is turning.
is there an Enlightened Tutor? No, there's a Curse Scroll of his own. There's 2 cards in Ben's hand. That is a good Curse Scroll. If Ben's able to hit, got a Tangle Wire. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Wire during upkeep here, or just attack. You just attack, right?
Yeah. You might just have to play the other Skittering Scourge.
Yep.
Down to 9.
7.
7. Or... What was the extra damage from? Oh, Curse Scroll.
Doesn't have to play their skirts though. He drew a Cabal Pit.
What is Ben tapping down? I think he's scrolling during his upkeep, and then he'll tap down Tangle Wire and then the other planes. He'll show an Exalted Angel. So Ben's looking to get to 6 mana. He doesn't want to put that Exalted Angel face down. Because if that angel connects...
Might not make it.
And then also, how close is Ron to Threshold? 1, 2, 3... He's got 5 cards too. And Ron is able to play both his creatures. Ron's at 16. But Ben's at 7. So Tanglewire taps itself. Do you take a coin flip here to use the Curse Scroll?
Ooh. 2, 3, 4.
If you miss, you just die, right?
Yeah.
But, like, how are you winning otherwise? I guess you can play the Morph, but... No, you still just die. Is that Seal Cleansing? Seal Cleansing
Yep.
takes out Curse Scroll. Well, that was the card needed, so... But now he needs to answer both creatures. And if he goes down to 2, even if he has Exalted Angel, which he doesn't have 5 mana right now, so he wouldn't have 6 on his next turn. I don't know... Light of Day. He needs Light of Day. Light of Day. Is there an Enlightened Tutor? Enlightened Tutor? It is Enlightened Tutor. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So Ron just needs Karavek Spite or Dystopia or Curse Scroll. Are there other cards that like do any damage now?
Let me look.
Oh man, that was very timely. Wait, what? He's getting Ensnaring Bridge? Why not Light of Day?
Is he worried about dystopia?
Okay. But
Ron could draw a factory.
Does Ron have
But-
Mistress Factory?
Yeah, he's got 3.
Okay. All right. But then also, like, your Exalted Angel won't be able to attack. Like, I feel like if you're likely to get to 6 mana and then be able to get a swing in with Exalted Angel, and then you don't care about pretty much any of the. I guess you might be worried about Ron drawing Snuff Out or something. I don't know. I don't know if I like getting that Ensnaring Bridge. What do you think?
I think I'd go for Light of Day, but if he gets Light of Day, he can start to get in with his factory. And now factories.
Well, and
Although Ron does have Threshold now for the Cabal Pits.
here's a shade. But yeah, if this were Light of Day and this Angel comes down, then it's just like lights out. He's just gonna scroll stuff. Is he scrolling Ron? I think you scroll Ron here, right?
Yeah.
An 8-turn clock. Yep, Ron will go to 14. He'll draw. We'll play a Ramosian Sergeant.
Spite, spite, spite. The applause from Ben is classic.
All right, let's bring
Let's
up
go to
Karex
game
Fight
3.
briefly. Ron did have to discard his hand and sacrifice all his permanents. But the spite takes down Ben. All right. All right, so we're even on things. Ron will be on the draw. Ben will be on the play. Do you think that's enough to give Ben an edge in this matchup? I mean, the haymaker of Light of Day just seems so powerful.
So good.
And it can come down as early as turn 3, right? I mean, probably possible to come down on turn 2, I think. All
I'm gonna message him and tell him they can start game 3 whenever they're ready.
right. All players trying to keep Mike and Flint up all night. Yep, I'm sorry, I yawned on air. I think I'm at 2, and I think Flint's at 1. So we did our yawning in our intermission, so it didn't count to our thing.
Busted by Tom.
Have we gone to 3 in all the matches tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, we have.
Nice.
Andrew Walker, you are an anomaly. you could be in Europe right now and up watching this.
Yeah. Andrew will probably be asking for games as soon as the stream's done.
Yeah. Anyone up for games?
All right. Ron has his 7 cards. Ben is mulliganing. He says no to his opening 7. So to the left of Ben's playmat, what is that?
I do not know.
Did he talk about this in an earlier episode? I don't even know what that is. I'll have to ask him.
Like some kind of a stone. His lucky magic stone.
I feel like he told me something about this. I think I can do my. I didn't do my get to know the players, did I?
No, I don't think so. Go ahead. I'll let you know if they start.
All right. So I think this is yes. So Ben said his favorite thing about Premodern is the people that he meets, and his proudest magic accomplishment. I guess the way I worded it was proudest magic accomplishment. And he said John Finkel's return on the Pro Tour Magic by winning Pro Tour Kuala Lumpur. So that's the magic accomplishment that Ben is most proud of. And the proudest non-magic accomplishment, he said, Abraham Lincoln and all his contributions. So proud of that. Said he's cast Swords of Plowshares the most. And there was some very long description about his favorite breakfast cereal, but basically summed up to a cereal where each puff is a miniature stack of pancakes.
All right, I'm going to jump in. Players have started.
Yes.
Ben leads off with the Mishra's Factory and passes. Ron goes Dark Ritual, and this is where we jump in.
All right, so Sarcomancy and Dothy Horror. Ben summons a 2-mana 1/2. Unfortunately, does not line up well against the 2/2 or the 2/1 Shadow.
Not so much.
So Ben taking 4 on Ron's second turn. And there's some more creatures in the form of 2 Carnophages. Light of day. It is the light of day.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
That is so good.
Those Carnophages, are they getting tapped?
I think they're going to get tapped.
They are getting tapped. He's not paying life for them. Mr. Jones, most lists do not play Priest of Gix. I have maybe seen it in a few times, but I think in general it's just not big enough of a body for the cost. All right, so we saw Snuff Out to take out Ramosian Sergeant. So that means... Oh, I was thinking there was a Dystopia in play. That's not the case. All right. So Ron's hoping for a sequence where... So here, like, Dystopia is what Ron needs.
Yeah, it's Dystopia or best.
Well, we could go on a Curse Scroll plan and just start chipping away and then get in Karovic's Spite range, but Dystopia, and I mean the time window for Dystopia is limited because if Ben plays a Rebel, Rebels usually get more Rebels, or it's just a buffer against, it's another turn against Dystopia because he'd sacrifice that card before Light of Day. This game's all about Light of Day. Sarcomancy. Alright. That creature is black. It cannot attack or block. What a brutal card. This is a card that my brother used to play. He just had one. He didn't have any way to find it. We probably had like 80 card decks. I would play mono black, so it's just kind of like every now and then, he just got to win. I don't even think I had like ways to finish him off like Curse Scroll, or I just would put Feast of the Unicorn on my Severed Legion and try and go to town. So
I ran this in the sideboard of my Tempest blue-white control deck. Pretty good.
Alright, we got a Rebel in play. Ramosian Sergeant, so Ron needs a removal spell, or I think things will get hairy. I mean, they're already pretty hairy, but this Ensnaring Bridge. We do not want creatures to attack. Alright, Sergeant will go get a lieutenant, a Defiant Falcon. I might get a Defiant Falcon. Falcon is in play. All right. Well, I'm kind of at a loss of what Ron needs to do now. It's Curse Scroll, right? Now that's his option. Like, I don't even think Dystopia is enough now.
It's looking grim.
Very grim. Well, Ben put that Light of Day in his deck. There's not that many aggressive black creature decks, right? It's pretty much like Suicide Black and Zombies. And even like Zombies, this doesn't do anything because of cards like Shepherd Rot and Gempal Polluter. But we do have a Dystopia, but this is basically just like a Rishid import, kind of. An expensive Rishid import. It'll just make Ben goes to get a Linsivy, and this Linsivy can just get a Rebel every time, put him back on the bottom. And Ron has to pay life for the cumulative upkeep, so Dystopia won't even stay around forever. All right, so I think Ron's going to hang in there for a little bit longer, but he's just looking to try and get a Curse Scroll to have a prayer. I guess maybe you could get a second Dystopia. That would be a way to do it. Two of them in play at once. That's possible that could be enough. We got a Negator. He does not negate anything.
No.
All right, so upkeep. Sergeant will go get another Sergeant. I think so.
Probably.
Yeah, I think Ben's going to come out with this. I think Light of Day will pull through. And I guess even if this Light of Day gets destroyed, there still is an Ensnaring Bridge. I don't know how many cards. Engineered Plague? Okay, so that kills 2. Is this enough in any way? What does Ron go down to? Ron's already at 11.
Yeah.
So 2 Rebels go down, but Linsivy importantly stays in play. So Ben could go get a Remosian Lieutenant or a Whipcorder. I think you get the Lieutenant. Or are they both dead? So maybe it's Whipcorder time? I think one of them died. Did 2 of them die?
I think 2 have died.
No, that looks like a Lieutenant.
Okay.
So that extra point of toughness on the Lieutenant. I have to imagine this is the reason why he has more Lieutenants than Defiant Falcons in his deck.
Maybe.
It is relevant now. Yeah, so if this lieutenant stays in play, then Ben would at least have the option of both activating the lieutenant and the Lincivy during the upkeep. Or I mean, he wouldn't have to do them at the same time, but the lieutenant can replace itself and then Zach, and the Lincivy can start putting stuff on the bottom or get a different rebel, so that you have another one to sack during the next turn. And this dystopia gets pricier and pricier to keep around, so he's getting a seal cleansing.
Yeah.
I think you actually take out the engineered plague here. As weird as that sounds, or you save it for a curse scroll. Though, I don't think this dystopia like really changes anything from the spot. So he just plays the seal and go. Let's the lieutenant die.
Yeah, you just let Ron take the damage.
Cabal Pit. That in theory could change stuff, but we're pretty long way from threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Wasteland takes out the pit.
Yep.
Okay. So here, Ben is deciding whether he needs to activate Lincivy to get a creature or to put something on the bottom. So he could get a whip quarter. I might whip quarter and put a lieutenant on the bottom of my library. You take 2 to do it. You go to 10. Oh, so he's gonna put the lieutenant on the bottom and then get it. Okay, and so then during the upkeep, he'll use the lieutenant's ability. I would go get a whip quarter. Okay, he's gonna use the Lincivy because it costs 2 less mana. Here comes a whip quarter, and like the good boy whip quarter is sacrifices himself for the team.
Who's a good boy?
Yes.
Who's a good whip quarter?
I kind of wanted to get Patrol Hound altered to kind of look like my dog, because it kind of looks like my dog to begin with. Because I'm like, no one ever plays Patrol Hound. So probably would just have to get a Wild Mongrel altered, but
Jackal Pup.
that's true too. Oh, and then I could be the girl. I could alter the girl to be me. Alright, Ron's at 4, so keeping this dystopia around is not an option anymore. The whip quarter goes down. And so I think dystopia will die. Then at end of turn, Ben can kill the engineered plague and then go get Defiant Falcon. Then start chipping in. I guess it does give Ron the out of getting Curse Scroll. Ooh, a second engineered plague. So,
wow.
Yeah, in response, he'll get rid of the first. I would say that I guess Lincivy would live, but then you wouldn't be able to go get anything. So, yep, seems like a forced play. Okay. So maybe Ron needs another engineered plague.
Yeah.
Tom, you don't like the Jackal Pup art? I like the Jackal Pup art. I don't know.
Hear me out, Mike. What if you got him altered? So it's your dog, but then it's the Cloud Goat Ranger from the card next to your dog. So it's you,
And then the giant.
but yeah, it's the giant sitting next to your dog.
I don't know.
So they're Cloud Goat Ranger versions of Jackal Pup, but with your dog.
Maybe.
Because I know Cloud Goat Ranger is a white card, but giants are historically red anyway.
Sure. Why is this giant hanging out with my dog? He's got his own
That's
goat.
pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe he's branching out from goats or Kithkin.
I think the wild mongrel art is, for how powerful that card is. The dog just looks like stretched in a weird way, or like something in the proportions of the dog, like
It's very long.
or like
arms. Its front arms are very long.
Yeah. All right, back to real magic.
Back to magic.
An engineered plague was presumably not drawn.
Presumably.
So what does Ben need to do? There is an engineered plague in play, so it's not like Defiant Falcon is going to chip away. So what does he need to have? I guess there's Ron has a lot of time. Ben just needs to draw Enlightened Tutor or Curse Scroll.
Or Ron just needs another Dauthi Slayer. Wait, no, that's not it.
Ron needs to draw 2 Karavek Spite and cast them at the same time.
There you go. You realize we've seen 3 prison decks tonight. I mean, granted, 2 of them were Ben, but we've seen 3 prison decks in the same night.
Probably why we went long, but
I'm going to rescind my previous statement. If someone submitted Mud, Stasis, and Pink Prison, I would just say no.
well, that was not the spread, so you would say yes to the Pox, Pink Prison, and Stasis then.
Or
That's what,
yes,
that's what you're telling me?
You can only handle so much prison.
All the Dothies, they're hanging out together. They're in the Shadow Realm. They're ready. They're ready. When Ben draws his second card and forgets to play it, I guess, and the light of day dies. Are we tapping stuff with whip quarters? Okay.
So is Ron's only out here? It's Curse Scroll and another Plague.
Yes. I think another Plague is probably where he needs to start. But I don't know.
And Ben just wants a scroll?
Ben wants to scroll. I think that would be the quickest way for him to win. Give that rounds at 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any cards that Ben would draw that he could not cast? Like that would be they're too situational that he here's a Dark Ritual. This is gonna make Cabal Pit come online. What did Cabal Pit kill?
Lynn Civi, maybe?
But there's still one in play. I don't know. How many seal cleansings does Ben have?
Let me look. 1 in the main deck.
And he has an Aura of Silence, right?
Yeah, he's 1 aura and 1 seal main, but none in the board.
Okay. So Ron hanging in there. Oh wait. So how did so an attack dealt 2 damage to Ron? How did that sequence happen? Is it just I guess there's just that many shadow creatures? He's able to tap I guess yeah, I didn't realize that there's that many shadow creatures. The Carnophages are tapped, so you just tap a Negator and a Shade, and then you're able to poke in for 1 with your Whip Quarters, because they're 1/1s thanks to Engineered Plague. So I guess that's a way to get around the Engineered Plague in some sense is helping Ben out. Though I guess it wouldn't be very hard for him to, if they were 2/2s, for him to have 2 cards in his hand.
Mm-hmm. What is that?
Their
Shared triumph?
All right, well,
We got there.
Light of Day is very good against the mono black aggro deck. That's what we learned.
It's a hell of a card.
All right, let's listen into the players.
I don't know if they can hear me. I want to tell them.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I realized that I had misread my card many turns ago, and
Could have ended the game a long time ago.
yeah, I was so obsessed with his creatures not being able to attack, I forgot that they also cannot block.
Oh, I did too.
I was sitting there staring at your Mishra's Factory. I'm thinking to myself, I swear that is a Mishra's Factory right there.
I thought I never said anything about it. I completely forgot too.
Yeah, so I put you through a little bit of pain. That's okay. Me and Ron are friends. We caused each other pain.
Yeah, I guess I always think of Light of Day as just a way of preventing from creatures attacking. I've never like.
Me
I've,
too.
I've
Me
never.
too.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dystopia was close to getting there, but yeah, the Rebel mechanic is very good against Dystopia.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
All right, so Sinister Strengths came
out,
out, and the Drinker of Sorrow, and the Engineered Plagues and Dystopias. Okay.
Yeah, I took out the Sinister Strengths because they're really bad against Whip Quarter.
Yeah, and Sword Splashers. So yeah.
I put in the cards you saw very clearly. I wanted just another threat that's big and fights can close the game. I saw he had what are they called? Edicts in the sideboard, and so I just kind of wanted to, and also he had the the curse scroll. So I put in an Ivory Mask because we're gonna get in these weird games where specific cards kind of matter, and then a Shared Triumph because it's great tech against Engineered Plague.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that one game you just beat down with it, like the preemptive, just like the Anthem portion made it so your creatures could attack more effectively and like definitely changed the clock in that game. So it was the Shared Triumph was good just on that effect that one time.
Yeah, and I was glad that I played it on the last turn of the match because I told Ron this was really a shared triumph for us both.
I said there was absolutely no triumph going on.
Did you name Human or Rebel?
I named Rebel because of the bird.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
One interesting decision I had was in game 1 where I could have tutored up the bird and it would have been a 2/2 and I could have blocked your 3/2, but I didn't want to give myself a 50-50 chance. I felt like losing the game on the spot, where if I just made this investment in you and you like can scroll it, I just felt like I was in a lot of trouble.
Well, that probably would have lost the game on the spot because my other card in hand was another Skittering Scourge.
There we go. All right. Well, cool. Now I know.
Yeah, and that Shared Triumph won you game 1 because it made it so that because otherwise I had to scroll a creature on your last attack to not die, and that kept me from scrolling you end step, untap, scroll you on upkeep.
Oh yeah.
That would have won me the game, but the Shared Triumph gave you enough power to attack through that I didn't. I wasn't able to scroll face. I had to scroll creature to stay alive.
Yeah, the one of shared triumph in game one was incredible.
Yeah, I was hoping you didn't see that you had Xaxes.
Yeah, I counted it quite a few times. I figured I'd rather be wrong and like all attack than be wrong and not attack. Cool. Well, thanks a lot. You guys have another match going on. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, we don't have another match.
Oh, okay. Well, I can talk about
This was it.
I mentioned it in the last time. If you're in the Premodern Discord, I'll be running another Secret Santa this year. So just let me know that you're interested, put you on the list, and we'll set you up with a Santa.
And that's where I got my sweet zombie token, was the gift exchange last year.
Yeah, last year I did something special where I handmade zombie tokens for everyone because, in honor of the best Premodern deck. So what are we doing after this? Is there an after party? What are we doing?
I'm going to bed.
I would say I'm tired too.
I've been up since 5:15.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that train as well.
Yeah.
So y'all have a good night. I'm gonna go crash.
I took a nap.
Good night, Ron.
I'm good to go. Where are we going, Mike? Come on,
Ben, hit the
down,
town.
Ben.
Hit the town.
Be quiet.
I know Ron just
Totally
never
down.
wants to see light of day again. That's probably.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Bye, Ron.
Night, Ron.
Talk to you later.
Is there anything you wanted to add, Ben? Otherwise, we're probably going to be wrapping things up.
Thanks, guys, again. I really appreciate being here, and you guys are just behind the scenes. The audience doesn't know this, but it's just like a blast. We're gonna hang out. So good to see you.
Yeah.
Take care. See you next week.
Yep. Good to see the
Sounds
Rebels
good.
deck
Congrats, Ben.
take down the win.
Take it down.
Yes.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Good night.
Okay. I guess that reminds me. I guess we didn't get to finish my get to know Ron. I don't think so. Let's do this real quick. So his favorite thing about Premodern, he says, it's when Magic was actually good. I mean, I still like modern Magic, but I do obviously have a fondness for the Premodern era.
Absolutely.
His proudest Magic accomplishment was the 2014 Idaho State Champion. Flint, how come you didn't take him down that year?
I was not living in Idaho in 2014. I had moved on.
You didn't fly out to Idaho to try and take down your hometown state championship.
No.
Did you ever play in the Idaho State Championship?
Did not. No.
Okay. All right. His proudest non-Magic accomplishment was being a dad. So, which Magic card have you cast the most? He says Counterspell. What were you going to add?
No. I mean, I said that's pretty good. That's a pretty good accomplishment.
Yes. And then his best breakfast cereal, he says, is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. In my opinion, it is a top-tier cereal. From my dry cereal perspective, it's one that's very delicious. Do you like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
I mean, I like it. I think it's good. I'll eat it, but it's not among my favorites.
Okay.
It's a little sweet.
All right. But when we were talking about the cereals, Ben had said that he said a cereal where each puff is a miniature stack of pancakes. And that just reminded me, did you ever have Waffle Crisp?
Sorry, I'm muted. I did, but they're too sweet.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, if you think Cinnamon Toast Crunch is too sweet, then Waffle Crisp is super, super sweet. But yes, that's what it reminded me of. Like maybe Ben would like Waffle Crisp. Do they still make that cereal? I don't know. But
I think they discontinued it, but they may have brought it back.
okay. I guess the Facebook group for the Bring Back Waffle Crisp was successful, and the Fortified Oats one did not have enough members. So Thursday, not the I got all my dates wrong. The schedule. Today's Thursday. All right, on the 16th, we're gonna be seeing Brian Durkin against Tom Metelsky, and then there is another match, but my screen only shows 4 since we had 3, so I'll just move out here. So quick look at the standings. I guess this has changed a lot since we've played a lot of matches, but James is our current leader. He's 5-1, while John falls to 4-2. We have Jared also at 4-2. Aaron had played. Who did Aaron play this week? He played Tom, right? Like in there, it was Esper Siphon. Yeah, yep. So yep. So
Yeah.
Aaron still at 2-3. Brian at Aaron at 2-4. Brian at 2-4. Ron at 2-4. Tom at 3-3. 3-3. Well, Ben is at 2-4. So we have a 5-1, 2 4-2s, and a 3-3. I think are our top four right now, and then lots at 2-4. I think that's where we're standing. But next week we'll have a clearer picture of where we're at. But I will move over here. We will wrap things up. We had a long show today. A lot of magic went on. A lot of good games. They were all really close, and a lot of decisions. Kind of things were down to the wire in a lot of the games. So thanks everyone for hanging out and sticking with us for this special three match episode of the Premodern Showdown series. But
The trifecta.
yes, thank you everyone for the support, the follows, the just being active in chat or subscriptions are great. But yeah, appreciate just everyone just watching the production that we put on. So we appreciate that. Thanks to our sponsor of Cardsphere. We appreciate the support that they gave. So what do you want to add, Flip, before we head out?
I don't think I have anything.
Right.
We had a lot of prison tonight. It was a bit of a gauntlet for us all, not just the players. But thanks for tuning in and thanks for sticking with us if you did.
All right. With that, until next time, take care.
Night, everybody.